Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 342 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. What is up, everyone? We're back home after another fun and productive week down in New York City. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the live streams and whatever other chicanery we got into down there. We also got 5 awesome interviews coming. We got you loaded for the rest of the summer. We already had one in the shoot, too, so we got a half a dozen ready to rock and roll. First, let's say hi to the boys. Producer, Mikey Grinelli. What's up, guy?
Going on, guys? Spent the weekend down the Jersey Shore. Got the absolute worst sunburn of my life, but Rico Bosco hooked it up at DJ's for me, so it all paid off. I had myself a fantastic weekend. Happy 4th.
How does Rico Bosco hook one up at DJ's exactly?
I think he's like the king there.
He's the king. He's the king of DJs. He got me to cut the line. He got you. Pink Whitney was flowing.
He got Pink Whitney in there.
We got Pink Whitney hats. It was unbelievable.
Did you have to kiss any rings or anything?
You look like a bottle. You look like a bottle of Pink Whitney right now. Let's see your stomach. Holy shit!
Oh shit!
Did you put the little Playboy sticker on?
I was gonna. That way I was thinking about it. Don't fall asleep on the beach. Bad idea.
With the belly button ring.
The wife and the what was the Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller? The first wife he had in the movie. All right. That voice you heard was Paul Bissonnette. What's up, buddy?
That was called the Heartbreak Kid when he went on the honeymoon, and then that guy Hippopotamus was fucking his old lady. Was that what you were talking about?
Yes.
The one with Ben Stiller? Yeah, with Malin Akerman, the blonde girl. Yeah, it was his wife. She gets wicked burnt, and she's wicked obnoxious, and then he falls for Michelle Monaghan on the side.
Oh, okay. I think that maybe that was a different movie.
Sunburn.
But I'll say I was hoping that the games in NYC when we were on the live streams were as exciting as the one tonight. But I tell you what, we got a series. The Habs are alive. They're like the Undertaker coming out of the casket beside the ring right now.
Yeah, except fucking Kucherov has a chair waiting to put over his head once they land in fucking Tampa.
Well, I will say the mayor of Tampa did not want this thing ending in 4. She said she wanted to bring it back home to win it on home soil. So we'll see if she gets her wish.
Yeah. A lot of people thought we were going to be all over her. It's like fucking politician talking sports. Like we don't get pissed off at that. But Ryan Whitney, he's a guy who likes to get pissed off. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. It was the first really entertaining game we got. I'm looking forward to chatting it all out with you fellas, but I thank God we're home from New York. I mean, just a dump of a city, 99 degrees being in that smelly city. It felt so good to be home. People were very upset at that mayor. It's like Varitek split the uprights. The mayor in Boston said they don't know what they're talking about. She doesn't know that makes it look like a complete jinx. But the Montreal Canadiens in winning a game at home in OT, good for the fans, good for them. They'll probably get smashed in Game 5, but what a hockey game we had, and I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Absolutely, yeah. She had a valid point. A lot of people are talking the same thing. Should they not win and win back home? But anyways, yeah, in case you haven't noticed yet, the Habs won Game 4. They're still alive, 3-2 in OT. Like the Wit Dog said, the most thrilling game of the series so far. Had a sweater to a late 4-minute power play, by Tampa. So we're going to bring in a former player on the Tampa Bay Lightning to give his expert analysis. Teddy Purcell is going to join us. But
before we go to that, Biz, can I tell the story of what you did with the beer when we left the restaurant in New York?
Oh, my God. Did you have that written down in your fucking notes?
No, I literally just thought of it. I said something made me laugh so hard at night in New York. So quickly before we hop to Teddy Purcell and the NHL.
Could you remind everyone I'm from Welland, Ontario, by the way?
That has nothing to do with it. I mean, I'm not even chirping you. This is just so.
All right,
people. So we go to this nice restaurant. I think it was called Oceans in New York. Great meal. RA, myself, and Biz. Grinelli had to shoot back home. So we have a nice meal wrapping up the day. And we had a couple, IPAs or lagers, whatever the beer was. Doesn't really matter. So the meal ends, and let's get out of here. And we wanted to go over to 7-Eleven across from the hotel because I wanted to grab maybe some dessert, some ice cream to just polish off the evening. And as Biz is walking around, he has this Body Armor, shout out Barstool and our sponsor, Body Armor water bottle. And I said, dude, did you piss in the water bottle? Because it's just straight, like, dehydrated piss color. He's like, no, man, I had a little beer left. as we were leaving the restaurant. So I poured it out of that beautiful glass into this Body Armor bottle and walked out. And actually, RA had a little in his glass too, and there wasn't much drink. So I thought the backwash wouldn't be too bad. So I polished off the rest. So this guy's walking around crushing an IPA, 2 people's IPA out of 1 Body Armor bottle.
To be fair, RA, you must have only took a couple sips out of yours, but being the veteran that I am, I only poured half of yours out because I didn't want the bottom half just in case there was a little backwash. Now, I'll never leave a man behind. That means a beer included.
All right, that just cracked me up. So let's go to Teddy Purcell now. I thought everyone might appreciate that. We appreciate you listening to me try to get through that story.
Yeah, we'll get to Teddy in one sec. We just want to remind you again, summer is here, and that means cookouts and parties and pool parties. So make sure to grab the new 375 milliliter Mickey size Pink Whitney at your local liquor store. We got some great pics over Canada Day and the 4th of July. So keep coming. Enjoy. You guys take some fantastic photos with the Pink Whitney. We got the account blasting them out. So keep enjoying the Pink Whitney and try out the new Mickey size. Fits perfect in the back pocket of your Levi's.
Jesus, all right. You sound like you're in Colombia already.
And now Teddy Purcell. All right, right now we're going to bring on former Tampa Bay Lightning and current employee of Adam Oates, the legend himself, Teddy Purcell. What's up, buddy? Long time no see.
I know. Nice to be back, boys. Good to see you guys.
Good to be seen. Good to be seen. You enjoying the playoffs so far or what?
Yeah, it's been fun. I haven't watched, every game, but the ones I have get a chance. It's been nice to see the boys rolling again. Thought they were going to close it out tonight, but Montreal finally stole one. And I was just waiting for the pictures and FaceTimes from the boys chugging out of the mug again. It's been pressing me on a Monday night after a solid July 4th.
It's like, hey, Teddy, look what we've done since you left.
Yeah, I know. Every team I've been on now is the Kings and the Bolts. A couple years after I'm traded, they win 2 cups in a row. So I'm just waiting for my phone to ring on July 1st. Some team's going to sign me as a scout or like
you were this close. You were this close to having as many as Gretzky.
I was this close to. I know it could be 4-time right now.
You got Kunitz.
I know.
I thought maybe the second unit power play for Tampa would be FaceTiming you and Oatsy to get a little help, man. I was hearing on the broadcast they haven't scored 1 power play goal the second unit all of playoffs. It's all been the first unit.
I know. I've seen that. How good is that first unit though? That's been fun to watch. Those guys are just snapping around. Montreal don't even know what to do. Now they're just collapsing in front of the net, and Hedman's walking down Broadway like one timer. From the
and then Edmondson's cross-checking everybody.
He's cross-checking everyone. No, the puck doesn't know where it's going. Price is playing really good on it. They should have 30 goals on the power play. And tonight they hit 4 posts, and they give it to Kucherov, and it's hilarious. No one knows if he's going back to Hedman, if he's one-timing, if he's going to point, if he's going to Stammer. I mean, it's got to be the worst thing ever to be a PKer on Montreal. They got to be cringing when the boys are going to the box.
I know the fact that they had the 4 minutes, 3 minutes on fresh ice, and they could have get it done. But I have a couple guys in Tampa I want to ask you about. But first off, for yourself personally, you're still working with Oatsy. Have you been traveling around working with guys already, like this early into the off season?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of. We just got back from Minnesota actually, where I was out there for a week, and there's probably 7 or 8 guys out there that we were skating with. I think it's just a weird time for everyone with the short season and the shorter off season now too. So I think guys just want to get out and get some reps and touches with him. We're going out to New York next week, and then we're going up to Canada to see some of those guys. So the next 5 or 6 weeks are will be pretty busy of going around and seeing the guys. But it's busy, but it's fun. You skate in the morning, then you can golf or go out for dinner with the boys, catch up with a lot of guys that you haven't seen, and so it's a good setup.
Did you teach Scheifele how to maybe ease off on those open ice hits? Or
I haven't seen Scheifele yet. If there's one guy that could teach about not hitting hard, it would be me, though. Maybe that's why Oakley hired me. He knew this was going to happen at some point.
Do you guys ever get phone calls from players like in the midst of playoffs for breakdowns quickly?
Yeah, a lot of those guys do. They love talking to Oatsy, just to pick his brain. I know, he helps some guys in Tampa on the power play, just positioning and where to stay and how to break down the other PK stuff. And I think just from his resume and his history on the power play and getting points and being so successful, the guys love, picking his brain and trying to learn from that standpoint.
Teddy, you've played with a ton of guys over the years. Like, have you ever met a brain quite like Adam Oates, the way he approaches hockey on a mental level?
No, I haven't. I mean, people could say I'm biased too because I work for him, but right. I mean, he coached me in Tampa, and I when he first started this job, I hired him to help me. So I obviously thought it worked and it helped. And then coaches, it's hard. They don't, boys, once you get to the NHL, everyone thinks you're already developed and you're in the NHL. So now no one worries about that. It's like, let's get 2 points and let's win a game. So coaches have too much on their plate with systems and 23 guys and the time. So I think Otzi, he doesn't have any kids either. So he really does treat this like they're his own boys, and he gets fired up. If the boys get a point, or if they don't get hit, or if they move the puck well that game, or if they learn stuff that he's been teaching, he's like, yeah, let's order another bottle of Camus, boys. Here we go.
And if they're offside, he disowns them and blocks them on his phone.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, if this guy wants to hire me back next year, it's $200,000 because no one goes offsides and you stink.
So he won't work with Chris Kreider.
No, maybe $200,000.
Who had the other one this playoffs that was worse than Kreider?
No, there's no such thing. There was. There was a worse one than Kreider's.
There was one that let's call it Kreider Jr. I'm drawing a blank though. Teddy, so you got the experience of playing with Kucherov his rookie year, and I know when you came on before, it's been so long. You described the type of guy and player he was, but just insane to see him miss the entire season and look like this in the playoffs. Or are you actually not even surprised?
I mean, I'm surprised his fitness level. You know how it is. You can bag skate as much as you want, but playoffs are 10 times more intense than a regular season game. Just for him to be able to play 20 minutes and compete and not look tired, and his hands never missed a beat. That's not that surprising. But to come in and lead the playoffs by like 9 or 10 points when you haven't played a game in months that's insane. And I mean, the guy loves hockey. He's so funny. Like, if you give him a bad pass or if you're not getting points, he's like, yeah, meat potato. You meat potato. You're like, Cooch, not everyone's as good as you. You're Biz, he would hate you. You meet potato.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. As soon as he came in the league, I had to get out of it. He wouldn't even let me on the same ice.
I probably told a story, too. I can't remember. But I was actually off to a good start that year. And I was playing with Marty and Stammer for most of it. And Cooch comes in the lineup, and Coop's like, hey, you're going to put you at this new rookie tonight. I'm like, oh, yeah, great. Like, this is going to suck. First shift, we were playing against Rangers. I went in the corner, gave like a pass to the middle. Boom, he buries it top block, like against Lundqvist, probably 10 seconds into his first shift. I was like, okay, this guy's pretty good.
And the rest is history. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Put him with Kaprizov and see who dummies who first. Sorry,
and just every game when he was coming up, he was just getting breakaways, just doing crazy stuff that, he scored a one-handed goal in a shootout in Long Island one time to win the game. It was just, you could tell right away he was special. And then how good of a guy he is, too. It's even easier to root for him.
Well, Biz, we got to get an advertising deal with Otzi, little Biz20 promo code, get a little discount.
maybe he could get me back in the league, for crying out loud. I was crazy. I was going to ask about Tyler Johnson. I mean, we talked about so many guys this year that was he put on waivers at the start of the year,
or at least on waivers a couple of times? Yeah,
a couple of times, similar to Paul Byron, and there's many others, and obviously the playoff he's had is been extremely impactful, as many of the depth players for Tampa has. But when you came in the league, or when he came in the league, you were playing with him in Tampa. What's he like as a guy, and describe maybe his game?
Yeah, I mean, his game is speed and quickness, but then in the playoffs, he obviously steps it up. His playoff numbers speak for themselves. I remember he came up the same time as Palat and Killorn and all those guys, and they're all big parts of that team. I think a guy that doesn't get talked about a lot is Palat. He's a rock on that team, man. He does everything so good. He plays hard. He's physical. He blocks shots. He puts up points. You can play him in any situation. Unbelievable guy too. So the Eisman was pretty good drafting all those guys back in the day, finding those diamonds in the rough. Johnson wasn't even drafted. He was a free agent.
He won the Memorial Cup in Spokane. Then he won the AHL with Cooper in, where were they? Norfolk?
Norfolk, yeah.
Norfolk, with like one of the greatest teams ever. And then he comes in, and I think in 15, I think it was the assistant coach who was like convinced if he hadn't broken his wrist in the finals, they could have got it done against Chicago. He was their MVP that run. So I thought what was cool was he he took a different role this year, and that included he was healthy scratch for the game they raised the banner, and they were figuring out the cap and what was going on, and obviously Kucherov ended up missing the year, so they were able to keep him, but they were looking to get rid of him a bunch of different times. So to have it be where you were the first line guy, like playing with Kucherov and who was the other winger, Palat, to end up being on the fourth line, it shows like the career arc he's had. He's been sick for the Lightning and Johnson. So he's a guy that like they'll definitely lose, but without him, I don't know if they end up getting back-to-back, which they don't have yet. We haven't even gone into game 2. So I guess I'm rambling a little bit. All right.
Yeah. We did mention Montreal won game 4 in overtime, but we want to do a little how we got here. We obviously the last couple of games we have been on the air since. Game 2, Teddy, that was a game Montreal. I mean, I always go to the unforgiven quote, Clint Eastwood, like, deserves got nothing to do with it. Like everyone said they deserved to win that game, but they didn't. At the end of the day, they outshot them 43-23. They were better on the power play. But there were just a couple simple mistakes. These are the mistakes the Canadians really didn't make for the first 3 rounds. The Cirelli goal, I thought Price knocked that in on his own blocker, but the backbreaker was the goal with 2 seconds left. Blake Coleman, an absolute Superman goal. He's done this like 5 or 6 times. But then it was another mental error, Teddy. Joel Edmondson he puts the puck in no man's land, ends up in the back of the net, and that was still anybody's game at that point. What was your take on game 2?
Yeah, I thought just for Montreal just to be up playing better than they have in the first game. Like the first game was like NHL versus AHL. It was like the ice was like that. It was like playing in the Shark Tank in 2010.
First period.
First period. Like you get outshot 20-1. It's the horn. The Sharks are going everywhere. Power plays. It's like, get me out of here.
Unless you're Biz, who went shelf on the Emmy and pumped him out of the game.
No, we were up 3-0, then lost 5-3. No, but the people don't realize, man, the Shark Tank was probably the hardest place to get out of the first period. If you could get out of the first, why are you rolling your eyes? Oh, you're agreeing with me.
Oh, I'm totally agreeing with you. It was a nightmare, the first 20.
I remember playing there in Tampa, actually, bring back a Tampa story. That was when we only played the teams like once every other year on the Western Conference. Remember that, Whit? So you wouldn't go there a lot. So we were playing there and we were out for dinner the night before. It was like the long road trip. And the California road trips back in the day were tough. Like it was 3 hard buildings to play in, 3 big teams. Just get back to Florida. So I remember me and Vinny were out to dinner one night. And I think Chloe might have been there too when he was playing with San Jose. And we weren't playing good at the time. I was like, Chloe, we're playing awful. You guys might beat us 7-1 tomorrow night. It might be 5-0 in the first period. And Vinny was like, these guys come out hard here? And I'm like, are you serious? He was dead serious. He was like, oh. And then after the first period, it was like 4-0. Shots were 25-7. He was like, wow. Place is hard. I was like, you've been in the league 15 years.
Yeah,
man.
how the fuck did he didn't know?
I don't know.
Those were the road trips that the guys always would take off, the California ones.
Yeah,
They'd fucking hit up the bottle service, and they have tans like Grinelli.
A big reason.
Sorry, quickly. The Coleman goal. Yeah, you mentioned he has like 6 unreal highlight goals in his career. This one, you don't want to blame Sherratt. Like he's had a great playoff, but he kind of got caught a little bit. Oh shit, it might have been Edmondson. I apologize.
No, I think it was Sherratt and Weber. That's what I was going to say. If you're out playing Tampa, you're going into the second period 1-1. That's like a win in Tampa's building. So cut your losses. You don't really need to jump up in the play. Now I know it's the finals and stuff happens fast, but there's only 3 seconds left. You should know that. Just hang back so nothing happens, and now you're not playing catch up, and they haven't had a lead in the series at that point ever. So 1-1 going into the second, when you're playing better, that's probably a better chance to win the game. So you don't really need to gamble there, I don't think.
Yeah, that was that was the end of the second. It was going into the third.
Oh, was it
actually.
going into the third? Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing is too, when you mentioned the giveaway that made it 3-1 RA, it wasn't necessarily the wrong play. The angle he took off the boards was wrong. So it bounced kind of more into the slot, where if he kept it more along the boards, it would have got to his partner, or maybe it was the center down low. So he had the right idea. He probably still could have wheeled, but it was more about the angle. He threw it off the wall, and all of a sudden it's right on the Palat stick. So, yeah, it was still a 1-goal game at that point. They could have tied it up late, but after that, it was you knew that
was a smart play by Cooch too on that one. He was kind of going behind Edmondson, then he went and cut in front of the net too. I don't know if that made him panic a little bit, and he kind of got rid of it a little faster than he did. And then it was, like you said, it was a bad bounce off the boards, and Edmondson probably skipped physics class or geometry back in the day, like we all did.
No, he FaceTime Biz before the finals, and that's what happened.
Just took away some of his fucking brain cells.
Teddy,
Then game 3 was a bit of a shit pumping too. They just unloaded the offense and finally let the floodgates open.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of that game was like, I wanted Montreal to win that one, just kind of make it more of an entertaining series a little bit. But then after, we were like, I was watching with Jeff Carter and at his place, and Tampa went up 2-0 in 10 seconds. And then Deneau had that nice goal. We're like, oh, wow, this is going to be like a good game. It's going to be exciting. And then Tampa was like, bing, 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 bing. Over.
Yeah. That was the worst. That was our stream. That was our last stream when we were ready to get out of New York. And that was definitely the worst game of the series in my mind.
I was trying to count all the fans. They said 3,500, and there had to have been at least 12,000 in there.
Yeah, it looked, I mean, it didn't look packed, obviously, but it definitely looked more than 3,500.
Teddy, huge reason why Tampa won that game too. Vasilevskiy, man, like this guy, he's gigantic. He stops everything. Probably the best goalie in the world right now. Is he the leader for the Conn Smythe right now? I know no one's won it yet, but
yeah, I mean, I think you can all argue all day about Point, Cooch, and then Vasilevskiy. I know Point hasn't done as much in this series, so maybe you can little more of an edge to Vasilevskiy, but yeah, I didn't play with him. I met him a few times, but just what the guys say about him, he's obviously, everyone knows how athletic and good he is, but he's one of the hardest workers that they have there, and he's a dog. So it's obviously people can say, well, he's not lucky. He's talented and he works hard to deserve everything he gets.
Do you think OT would pass over a goalie as a client? Like, I don't know, man, or is he maybe smart enough to be like, I'll take you in?
I think he is.
I think he could. I think he could work with some goalies.
Absolutely.
He teaches guys on like the senior tour on PGA. He just breaks down their putting, breaks down their shots, their swings. Him and the name Steve Quigley.
Yes,
or Brett Quigley.
No, the Quigley is that the one who played? One of them senior tour players played hockey down in the Florida area.
I'm not sure, but I think it's Brett Quigley. Yeah, he's a swing coach. He goes to the range room at what's that nice course?
Bears Club.
Seminole and Bears Club, yeah, and he teaches them his stuff. Yeah, he just knows everything about the body anatomy. He's just way too smart for everyone.
Yeah, another note on that game, too, it was Dom Duchamp's first game back, but it made no difference, man. Tampa just fucking spanked them in that game. 6-3 win, gives them a 3-0 series lead. I thought the Habs come out pretty sloppy. The Ruda goal, Jan Ruda, Price got to stop that, man. I'm sorry. Like, we were sitting next to Jose Theodore Biz. I don't know if you heard him, but he said it. He goes, oh, man, that's a bad angle. That's what he should have had. And then once you're down 1-0 in the whole of Tampa Bay, you kind of screwed. But we just mentioned Tyler Johnson a minute ago. He had a huge game, 2 goals. Vasilevskiy, 11 straight wins over Montreal. I know he lost tonight. 3rd longest streak in NHL history as far as a winning streak over Montreal. So a pretty cool thing for him. And the Tampa Bay defense, they were key tonight. Key in game 3. 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points total. So, I don't know. What else you got in this game, Teddy?
Yeah, I mean, that game, I was saying, I was hoping it was going to be a closer game just because the finals, I don't know if it was you or Biz Witt, but you're like, this finals is embarrassing. So I wanted trash. And then Deneau came down and scored, and I was like, all right, this might be a game. And then Tampa, like you said, Johnson took over, and Tampa dominated them, and it looked, again, like the first game, NHL versus AHL team. So, it's funny though, like, when a player plays bad, the GM and the coach sit down and like, oh, this guy, healthy scratch, and then the team wins. Or if you come in the lineup and you lose and you're out again the next lineup, it'd be funny if the coach say, hey, Ducharme, you weren't ready tonight. You got to sit out game 4, but up in the press box with Kotkaniemi.
Hey, things were going like decent. I mean, even game 2, we could have won. Now you're back. We're getting run out of the building.
Exactly. Boys might have liked Richardson more. I heard he's a good dude. He looked pretty
From like a skill team standpoint, I felt like shifting it over to game 4. The reason I thought Montreal had more success and they seemed more into it is they kind of, they try to bully them. They try to be a lot more physical, a lot of face washes. They, and I mean, you saw like how many times there was like 3-4 guys in the box together. Is it hard from a skill team standpoint when they're just taking runs at guys?
Yeah, I think Tampa, they're mature now and they're veterans of the playoffs. They've been on a bunch of runs. A couple of years ago, you could say that. Remember when Columbus bullied them and pushed them out of the rink? They swept them. I think they learned from all those deep runs and what it takes. And maybe that year people were like, they need to get bigger and physical. I think they went out and addressed that and got, Big Rig, and they got that third line who are like buzzsaws. They're not the biggest guys, but they play tough and they don't back down from anyone. So I think it add another element to their lineup. And now you see Cooch. Cooch is not getting pushed out of any series. It doesn't matter who it is. He's taking his cross checks. He's in there. He's scoring from the tough areas. Point, obviously, everyone knows him. He's a gamer. He's not shying down from anyone. So I think their experience from what they've had in the past, their failures, has really put them over the top. And now looks like for the second year in a row, they're going to walk away with another one.
And we talked about Hedman, guys, and the McDonough chatter needs to continue as well. It's like that game tonight, the play he made in the Game 7 goal against the Islanders, the Gord goal, he started it all in the PK. And then tonight, he makes the most ridiculous, kind of pinch at the offensive blue line, keeps the play alive, goes in, no-look dish to Gaudreau for the tying goal. It's like to make it 1-1. And then later on, he does this cross-seam head up shot past Kucherov, who had an empty net, and he hit the post. So the fact that they have Hedman and Sergachev and then also McDonough, it's like, what a player, what a trade that they ended up acquiring him from New York.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Hey, I heard that the Panthers had a deal for him for Borgstrom. And he before that, Borgstrom had ever played a game, and then there was something else involved, and it fell through. Where he was calling guys on Florida about schools and where to live. So you can imagine if Tampa wasn't able to get him when they were, because he is a beast.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't get talked about enough, but I think just only because, for one, they're in a Tampa market. If they're in Canada, they're gonna be all over him, how good he's been, and also because Tampa have those 5 other studs that get most of the attention. But like you said, Whit, anyone that knows hockey or watches it would take that guy in their team any day. Even at the Petrie, he probably should know he's pinching, but he just surprised him. McDonough kind of just waited and came out of nowhere. And then obviously that pass is world-class too. But yeah, he just goes about his business and he's solid every game. He was a beast that whole Islander series too. He blocks shots. He's so smart. He's so calming back there. He's been fun to watch.
Well, you talk about Petrie on that play. He was probably looking at the 2 forwards who looked like they were back checking already. I think it was Gaudreau, and it might have even been, I forget who the other guy was. So yeah, he kind of lifted up his head and he acted like he was surprised. It was just a great heads up play by McDonough.
Mm-hmm. And in that, I want to shout out Suzuki because he continues to impress, and the poise and the patience he had to find Anderson on the 1-0 goal. And amazingly, dude, I literally tweeted out, just give the cup to Tampa, end this, enough. And it was as the tweet was being sent, and I got sick internet at home, boom, they score. It was a ridiculous timed event, but Suzuki made the entire play happen, I thought.
Yeah, he almost had another one too in the third, I think. Same kind of play. He waited around someone, toe drag back. I think he tried to backhand it out to Caulfield. But yeah, as a second-year player in the league or whatever he is, first or second year, to be in the playoffs like that, making those plays under pressure is impressive. He's going to be good for a long time.
I was reading up, the LA Kings are the only other team to take a 3-0 lead in a series, a final series, in the last 22 years, Whit. Of course, their series got extended. And then looking at the Habs, they were only swept in 1952, so they avoided a big sweep tonight. Going back to Tampa, we said earlier, I think, Biz, Tampa 14-0 after a playoff loss, going back to the bubble. And they haven't lost back-to-back games in either postseason so far. So
I think Tampa tried losing that tonight. Then families couldn't come up. They didn't want to be in Montreal.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, that's the mayor.
That's a joke. The media's coming up. The families can't come up?
Yeah, and there's 25,000 people outside with no mask, but you can't have people inside. So now their boys are going to go back to Tampa and have the parade on Saturday. It's perfect. They're veterans. They didn't want to celebrate at home, win one.
Are they going to go back to the boat tour, or are they going to do it different this year?
I'm not sure. Probably have a bigger one, I'm sure, right? Less COVID.
Yeah, they probably will have a normal one. Yeah. Although the Bucks did it, but it was still kind of COVID then.
Yeah, the boat tour, right?
I mean, I guess I can ask any of you guys, how would you approach that going into the game? I mean, you don't play to lose. So hockky players aren't programmed.
You just want to win, all right?
Yeah, you want to get it out of the way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just want to clarify.
I was just joking. Yeah. And
no, not you. I just, some people out there, Teddy, you never know.
Yeah. And you know how it is, boys. I'm sure there's a bunch of those guys banged up and probably have to get surgeries after. They want to get that thing over as soon as possible and not even give Montreal a chance or risk it.
Yeah, don't even give him any hope. And I read the last sweep was the 98 Wings, I believe.
Yep.
And in that time, so it's we're looking at a period where there's been 3 NBA sweeps and 6 World Series sweeps. So I like the parity of the league. No one wants to see a sweep in the finals. That was kind of what everyone said before this story. I mean, before the final began. I think that in the end, though, like, Tampa dominated that game. The shots were a significant margin in favor of them, and then they're going home. I mean, they're not coming off the ice. They're coming off the ice disappointed. By no means are they worried. They're fully confident they're going to smash them on Wednesday.
Yeah, for sure. And they hit 4 posts too. I know anything can happen in the playoffs, but Tampa probably deserved to win that game, and the only reason why was Price was lights out again. So I think, the boys will be happy to hoist it at home this weekend.
Teddy, any extra FOMO added, considering that you played there for so long and you still know so many of those guys?
Yeah, definitely FOMO. Like, when I first came out of the league, it was almost like too soon to see the teams winning. I mean, it even felt like that the year I got traded from LA, and then the boys won 2 out of the next 3.
Like watching your old lady on a videotape getting reeled by.
I know.
By RA in Colombia.
Yeah, by a stud with a huge wrench.
Woof dick.
Little black.com, Teddy? 2-on-1, no back checkers?
No back checker, no. And just love her face, just loving it too.
Hey, they got the mascara all over.
Yeah,
So why do they call you RA?
No, I'm happy for those guys now. And they won it last year. It'd be cool to win back to back again. I still keep in touch with 5 or 6 of the guys that are not the training staff are awesome, and see them in the summers and at weddings and stuff. So no, that ship has sailed now. I just want to keep seeing those boys win. And I was talking to the Kings guys the other day too, and Kopi was saying that the year they won the cup, you mentioned that they're the first team since the Kings to go up 3-0. Those guys were up 3-0 in every series that playoff run. How nice of a feeling would that be?
Well, and they were also getting after it after every time they clinched.
Yeah, I know, because they were sweeping everything. They had 2 weeks in between series. It was like a dream. Just
racking up the air miles.
Yeah,
that was one of the most dominant. I think maybe the most dominant cup run ever. I think they went 16-3 that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's insane. That's like no stress, no anxiety at all in the playoffs. Imagine going into every city knowing you're going to stomp teams.
Teddy, speaking of ladies, you ended up getting engaged. Is that something you could talk about on the podcast? Because we wanted to congratulate you.
I think I have to now that you just asked and told everyone.
Well, we could always take it out.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, we did it last Friday. And going back to the story of, being jealous of your old teams winning and like a little salt in the wound. She's going to Tokyo for the Olympics, so I had to give her the ring before she went to the athletes village and some 6-foot swimmer, 250 pounds and no body fat, a basketball guy. So I had to lock that up pretty quick here before
the first ever Tokyo. Porn filmed in the Olympic village from your new old lady. Hey, so
they give out free rubbers.
She's beach volleyball, right?
Yeah, she's playing the beach volleyball. They're going in as the number 2 seed.
Let's go.
I know. Her partner's April Ross. She's been in a couple Olympics, so she's got a bronze and a silver. Her partner does. So there's only one left for her to get. So hopefully they'll come back with a little piece of gold.
So this will be her first ever Olympics?
Her first Olympics, yeah. So she's all fired up. So
and then unfortunately for you, somebody was telling me at the Barstool office, it's just Japan like residents.
Yeah,
nobody else can go.
Just only domestic fans. So dumb.
That sucks. I mean, so her job is traveling the world playing this sport, but still, it's her goal always been the Olympics. Like, is this something that she's been working for so many years?
Yeah. So she played indoor volleyball like overseas and after college, and that's where those girls make their money, and they have good contracts over there. Beach is not as much for the money, so she switched to beach because she didn't want to live abroad anymore. She's from here. She wanted to train here, and she missed the Olympics indoors. She didn't make it, so her goal was to try it on the beach. And I think she switched over like 3 or 4 years ago. So, I mean, if we had those guys' work ethic with her work ethic, we'd still be playing and making 5 or 6 right now.
She's an absolute breeder too, Teddy.
I know. But I said, if our kids don't have, college scholarships, like I'm out. She was like,
I want my money back.
You can't say that. I'm like, I'm only joking. But yeah, they have good.
You're like, worst case, they can go play junior, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Go play the dub.
Hey, boys, real quick. I want to mention our friends at Labatt. At Labatt, they don't care if you're good or bad at most things in life. Good. That sounds good. They only care if you're good at being yourself and not pretending to be someone you're not. And if you are, they're good with you. After all, if you choose Labatt, Blue Light, you're good at the most important thing there is, beer. We already know you're good at watching hockey. Be good at beer, too, with the pristine Canadian Pilsner, Labatt Blue Light. We're going to be working with Labatt Labatt Blue Light all year. We have some exciting content coming up, so grab a pack and enjoy the last few games of the Stanley Cup. We don't know how many we're going to get, but how about Hedman, the first player in NHL history to score a goal in all 12 months of the year? That's
we talk about the bat thing, though. Did they hire Ryan Malone for their marketing commercials?
I haven't seen him. Is it a Bugsy twin?
No, I'm just saying that what RA just said. It sounded like Bugsy wrote it. Grab a beer, be yourself. Don't be anyone else. Do good and drink beer.
He's right. He's writing beer jingles now.
The guy can do it all.
Grab a beer, hang with your buddies, light a fire, and watch it burn.
A big lineup change. Montreal, they finally went to Romanoff. I mean, people have been clamoring for this guy. They've been riding their top 4D for so long. Were you surprised it took so long, Teddy, for Duchambeau, the coaching staff, to get him in?
Yeah, I mean, he came back he played in the seat. He was physical. You know, he can skate. He can. He's not afraid to make plays for a young guy, and especially like what you just said, of those guys were just playing those four big guys too long. In Tampa, anyone can watch if you're a hockey fan or not. Just those guys were coming at those D in waves. It must have been. It looked exhausting just watching Tampa come at them and forecheck and hound puck. So, and against a team like Tampa, they're just too good. You can't play with 4D. I don't care what 4D you have. It's just too hard. And so I thought he came in and did a good job tonight. Obviously, the goal is icing on top and makes the coach look like a genius. But I think that was pretty stupid for them not to have him in the first couple of games.
Yeah, I thought the best sequence of the game was early in overtime. That fucking unreal save that Vasilevskiy made on Suzuki, and then it goes the other way, and Price makes two huge saves down the other end. It's just been a great goaltending show. What do you think? You said they're going to wrap it up Monday night or what? Are they a lock or
Wednesday?
What? Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Wednesday. I think it's going to be a lock at home. Like you said, Price was going to steal at least one game. He could have done it in game 2, but they had those mental mistakes. I think Tampa at home ice, building family in the stands. It's just a matter of time. They're not going to get away with the 6 or 7 game series here.
All right, boys. This question applies to all three of you. Shea Weber gets called for the high stick, 4-minute double minor, a minute and a half left in the game or whatever it was. How much are you guys shitting your pants if that's you in that situation? If this team scores, your season is fucking over because of your penalty. And Shea Weber, have all the respect in the world for the guy. It was just one of those accidental things. But, I mean, how much is a guy shitting himself in that box? Or is he a guy like Weber?
Yeah, he probably went through a couple of diapers in there. But he's a guy that everyone likes, and obviously he's had a great career, and he's an honest player, and those guys love him. He's their leader, and like you said, it was just shit luck, and he probably had he had so much guilt and anxiety in that box, and I was kind of glad they killed it. That was
exactly,
and he goes to war for those guys every night, so that would have been a shitty way to end it on a harmless call. Now, if you cross check someone in the head or something, then that's your own fault. But a little play like that could happen 10 times a game, and to have your season like that would have been hard. He would have had a lot of sleepless summer nights for sure.
Yeah, I think if it was a selfish penalty, you don't feel bad, and in a play like that. The other part is, too, he had to get through the first minute and then sit in the locker room the entire intermission thinking about the next.
Don't look at Jay. Don't look at Jay. Don't look at Jay.
Clean ice, too, for Tampa's power play. That's what we're feeling in hockey right now. But they did a great job killing that. And they had better chance to end it shorthanded than probably Tampa had.
Did you think for sure they were ending it?
Overtime?
I would have. I was looking at my live bets.
Yeah.
We had 20 grand on it. No, I honestly, I'm not rooting for the Canadians, but honestly, Teddy, I was 100% hoping they killed it just for Weber. Because, honestly, you got to think they dig a little deeper with a guy like that. Like, knowing, it was a tough penalty.
No, buddy, they're digging deep already. They're trying to keep their season alive. Doesn't matter who's in there.
You might give another 2% because, even 0.02% because it's Shea Weber, man. You don't want to let that guy down. You got him staring across the room at you. I don't know. I think that's where a respect factor can make just that much of a difference. And
I trust RA's opinion over Witt's.
Hey, you know what?
After all,
he's got the credibility.
How many street hockey tournaments has Whitney won?
Oh, shit. Well, Teddy, thanks so much for coming on. Haven't seen you in quite a while. Maybe we could get together in the summer here. We got a street hockey event coming up. come to that, or we could come to you in the fall. But it's great catching up with you. Congrats on the engagement, and hopefully you're married to a gold medal winner in a couple weeks.
Thanks, boys. Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Had fun like always, and hope to see you guys soon for a couple of cocktails. Yeah, get those wrist curls going.
Awesome.
We'll see on the golf course. You and Bugsy Sandbagger coming up on the West Coast.
I'm practicing. Can't wait.
All right, boys.
Tell OT we said hello.
I will.
Big thanks to our buddy Teddy Purcell for joining us. It's been a minute since we had him on. He's probably one of the favorite reoccurring guests we have on Spittin Chiclets.
Yeah, salt of the earth, one of the best guys going. It's good to catch up. I'd love to see him soon enough. And we're on to Game 5, guys. I pretty much, I got the Mark Messier guarantee going here, Game 5. Tampa ends this series. We had one good game. Game 4, Canadians get lucky. On to Tampa, raising it again.
Like a fork in the Habs. They're done.
All right, boys. In addition to the Stanley Cup, there was quite a bit of off-ice action last week. Lots of moves by teams and whatnot, and also a couple of other awards. Adam Fox won the Norris Trophy. Beat out, Victor Hedman and Cale Makar for the honors. Was this an upset to you, Whit? No, probably not.
In the end, not really. Not to pump my own tires, but I think I said he should win this a couple of weeks, if not months ago. And, man, 2 people have won the Norris Trophy in their sophomore seasons. Bobby Orr and Adam fucking Fox. So to add your name to a list that's just included with only Orr is pretty scary stuff. And if you look at like the Rangers and their future, it really all does go around him. And you see him already become the best defenseman in the world, at least this season. And he does it in really interesting fashion because he's not the fastest player in the world. He's not the biggest, but he's so smart. His hockey IQ is on another level. That's what I talked about when we were pumping his tires throughout the year. But he thinks the game at a legitimately different level than 99% of defensemen because he's so far ahead of the play in his mind where he's able to see where guys are going to be, along with the ability to have the puck and make head fakes and make moves that just completely give false information. It's just an awesome season. I'm happy for him. And what's interesting is he's got one more year till he's a free agent, but this summer, you'll see what's going on. I think Quinn Hughes is a free agent, Cale Makar, and Heiskanen, right? So it's with the flat cap currently, are you going to sign a long-term deal? Are you going to try to do a shorter deal to then hammer it, when the cap's back and the league's going a little different post-COVID? I don't know what the Rangers want to do with him. What is he going to ask for now? In the end, though, it's a deserving win for a guy who right away came in, 42 points, I think, his rookie year. Wasn't even spending most of the season on the first power play unit. That was Tony DeAngelo. And then this year, he just took it to another level. So congrats.
Yeah. And when you say free agent, obviously restricted, right? He did come out of college and he kind of got to decide where he wanted to go. Was he originally property of Calgary and then went to Carolina and then got moved over?
He was a 3rd-round pick from Calgary. And then, won the Hobey Baker, was dominant in college, and pretty much, did he say he didn't want to sign with Calgary? I don't know the entire story of how he went to Carolina first. Maybe that needed to happen to then have the Rangers be able to go in with them. But
what a pickup.
I know, dude. Power move by a kid who grew up did he grow up in Connecticut or New York, G?
Long Island. And how about Kevin Hayes? Kevin Hayes, episode 96 of Spittin Chiclets over 3 years ago, coming on the pod, just pumping Adam Fox's tires, saying he's going to be a stud in the NHL. And then he wins the Norris.
Well, I mean, you kind of mentioned it too. He ends up getting the first PP minutes, and it's hard to argue because as far as eye tests and numbers are concerned, you really can't deny him winning it. And then on top of that, you look at the analytics where it's like, holy fuck, did this guy even spend one shift in his own zone? So it's very impressive. What a diamond in the rough situation.
Reading the articles I've seen since he won, talking about the analytics, he just pushes the play out of his own zone. He's unreal takeaway wise, and then he gets it going. They create shots in the slot. They create so much more when he's on the ice, and it doesn't matter if it's 5-on-5 or up a man. So yeah, I think that it was you could see Hedman getting it again, but in the end, I like that he was voted the winner. It's pretty cool.
it probably helped the shortened season as well. I mean, Hedman, it's tough to argue against him, but as far as all the numbers that you're looking at, yeah, he was just kind of far and above in the shortened season, the best guy. And
yes, I'm sorry. So he was part of the Dougie Hamilton to Carolina and Lindholm to Calgary deal. He was part of like that whole like package.
Yeah, so that's why I said kind of a diamond in the rough situation where, all of a sudden they got a Norris defenseman in his second year. And I'm sure a few of the other teams are kicking themselves in the ass given what the return was. But, hey, the New York's got themselves a good one.
Yeah, he's got that Harvard clout where most of those guys, a lot of those guys stay for 4 years and they end up losing their rights like we saw with Jimmy Vesey a couple of years ago. Fox, I don't know if he made it known publicly or what, but he didn't want to play in Calgary, didn't want to be in Carolina, and he kind of, leveraged his way to the Rangers. So, hey, if you can do it as a player, good for you,
Did he
man.
make it clear that even though he's from Long Island, he didn't want to play for the Islanders? I'm just asking.
You're a fucking...
I guess you can deduce that from what I just said.
You're something else, man. You're something else. But I'll tell you what, if there's one thing the Stanley Cup final has taught us is that, and Frank the Tank said it after the live stream the other night, he said, this tells us a lot about the Islanders and the fact that how they're dismantling, or I guess did dismantle the Montreal Canadiens, and how hard it was to knock off the Islanders. So I guess we got to thank the cap situation, which I guess that's another question for you, RA. Now, I was trying to dig up whether it was true or not. Is the fact that the Tampa Bay Lightning brought it up a few years back, I think it was 2015.
If that tweet's true.
If that's true. So they tried to bring up the fact that you shouldn't be able to put guys on long-term IR and then activate them and be over the cap and playoff. And then they said that Tampa was the team that brought it up when the new CBA negotiations were happening, and everybody else was kind of pigeon tossing them, saying, nah, let's just
I think the tweet said that they brought it up once they lost to the Hawks in 2015. Done it
because the Pat Kane thing. They stashed Pat Kane on
but
on
that
LTIR.
Could be a Twitter kind of I haven't seen that verified already. Have you?
I looked.
We're the
around,
rumor pod. We're the rumor pod. That's
you're
what
the
we do.
rumor guy.
You are. Whoa.
You're the biggest rumor guy.
Dude.
Okay, listen. I'll take credit for the Johnny Gaudreau rumor when
rumors get started.
Wait, has RA never said a rumor on the pod ever?
I'm pretty much
RA got one wrong.
Rumor.
Did he break a trade?
Wrong.
I reported a story that was wrong. That's different than passing along a rumor.
Well, no, it's not really. In the end, it was a rumor.
Well, no, it was told to me something was going to happen, and something changed last minute.
So it was a rumor.
No,
Blender.
I don't
Blender eyes.
No, I don't think it was a rumor at all.
It didn't happen.
It didn't
all
happen.
Right,
that doesn't mean it's not a rumor.
I'll tell you what. All right, I'm going to take the rumor title for the podcast, but it is up for grabs. I'm gonna.
I'll take the humor.
I'm gonna catch you slipping one of these days.
It's gonna be slip if I'm slipping. Also, Biz, this was an interesting note. Tyson Barrie is the first player in the 67-year history of the Norris Trophy to lead defenseman in scoring and not receive a single vote. That's from @JFreshHockey. I did see one page with the top 15 guys, and he didn't get one vote there, and the other one had every guy in the league, so I didn't have time to go through that. But
he gets the old anyone could do that job. He passes it to Draisaitl and McDavid, where in the end he makes some great plays, and I thought he had a great season. But you know what I'm saying? The whole read on him is, it's not that hard to pass to those two guys. That's how you lead the league in points.
You're on a podcast with one of them, RA.
Exactly.
I could have had 40 apples snapping at the Sid. I would have led the league in scoring too, playing with McDusty.
All right, moving right
for the defenseman anyway.
All right, moving along to the Vezina Trophy. Marc-Andre Fleury won his first, former teammate of you guys. Tough the way his season ended, I think, but nice to see him get one. He just keeps further cementing his Hall of Fame resume, Biz?
I missed who you said, RA. I totally glitched up because I was also looking at. I was going to mention Cale Makar quickly, going back to the Norris, saying if he was able to be healthy all season, he probably would have been neck and neck with Adam Fox. But moving on, but Flower, I'm so happy for him. We were able to interview quite a few guys in NYC. One of them being Kevin Weeks, and we talked to him about it. Kind of a bittersweet ending to the season for Marc-Andre Fleury. Finally gets his first Vezina to add to the 3 Stanley Cups. But I mean, it's tough to argue this one given the season he had and the fact that he's doing it at the age he's doing it at. When we talk to Mike McKenna, it has to do with his conditioning and his skating and the fact that he's still able to keep up with this NHL pace.
Yeah, that's a guy who's he's taken care of his body like as well as he could since he was 18, since he came into the league. He's always eating well. He's always working out. And McKenna did talk about that. I was just really happy for him because, you know, the 3 cups, what was it? 6 trips to the finals, right? He lost with me and he lost with Vegas. So 5, sorry. To get the Vezina to go with all that, all the All-Star games, it does really cement his Hall of Fame legacy. Not that he wouldn't have been to begin with, but it's pretty sick for him to be able to say he's a Vezina winner, and it was deserving. He had a great season. It's so odd that the Vezina winner was scratched in the game that they lost. I mean, how often?
That's got to be
how many
a first.
fucking times has that ever happened?
That's a first. But that also might be a rumor.
That has to be a first, that the Vezina winner being a scratch. What'd you say, Viz?
I said that has to be a first, but I said that might also be a rumor.
But if it becomes true, then it becomes a truma.
That's what your stories are, trumors.
Yeah, that means it came true. You don't listen. Yeah, he had a 928 save percentage, 198 goals against, 6 shutouts. Guy's been in the league 17 years, 36 years old. Impressive as hell. Like I said, it was a tough ending of the season for him, the way things went with DeBoyle off the nut.
And Vasilevskiy, you know, he's fucking going to win plenty moving forward. So I think it was Flowers' turn to win one. Who was the other guy in the mix other than Vasilevskiy?
I just closed
the fucking Do you know Whit off the top of your head? Let me take a stab at it. Michael Hauser.
Wasn't it Grubauer? I think it was Grubauer.
No, it was Michael Hauser.
Imagine how quickly Hauser would spend his bonus from winning the Vezina.
He'd get a Bud Light tattoo the size of Ben Affleck's on his back. That's all I got.
Get the third finalist?
That's all I got.
Hockey podcast?
Yeah, Vasilevskiy and Grubauer.
Grubauer.
Oh, that a boy, Mikey. You didn't say it with much oomph, though, so I didn't believe you. Had you sent that? How important is it to say stuff with confidence?
Emphasis.
Because people just believe you.
That's true.
That's why that's why everyone believes Biz.
I actually had a 45-1 ticket on Varlamov to win the Vezina this year. Obviously didn't win, but he had a pretty good season, just not as good as the Flower. McDavid, you just mentioned him, Biz. He won the Hart and the Lindsay. No surprise there. He got every single first place vote for the Hart. Well deserved. I mean, how would you, in good conscience, even vote for anybody else this season for MVP?
Well, I think he's the first guy to win unanimously since Gretzky as well. Yeah. Where everybody gave him the first place vote. So yeah, I don't think in good conscience, I probably wouldn't have, just to be that guy. Kind of like that one guy sent out his list as far as Selke winners where he had Deneau number 1. But I mean, hey, but looking at what he's done in playoffs, maybe I guess he did deserve a couple votes.
All right, buddy. All set. Any other things you want to add on the awards, Biz?
I think we've stroked McDavid off enough this season. I mean, what
are you going to say? We talk about him every episode. The guy had a legendary season, an all-time season. Next year, honestly, might be better. It's like he just keeps getting better. I don't get it.
I had somebody, I think, hit me up in the DMs on Instagram saying that he just bought a cottage on Lake Muskoka right near him, and he asked what I should bring over as a housewarming gift for him, like as in what that guy should have. I said a bottle of Pink Whitney. So, I mean, that's pretty.
This is a stranger or a friend of his who's just walking over to his house?
Oh, complete stranger.
Oh, that's good. You should give him the address.
You guys good?
I got nothing.
All right.
I was just trying to make conversation, all right?
I hear you, buddy. Absolutely no surprise with the call. Kirill Kaprizov had a phenomenal year for Minnesota. Basically put that franchise back on the map. He beat out Jason Robertson and Hurricanes goalie Alex Nedeljkovic for the honors. I don't think they were even close. So kudos to him. And
training camp starts soon in the KHL too.
Wait, time out. I think that he's holding out right now. Have we talked about that?
No, he's not holding out. They just signed Eric Sinek, which we're going to get to in a second. And Bill Guerin said, we were talking, whatever report came out said there was silence on both ends. Bill Guerin said it was bullshit. They're talking, they're negotiating.
Another rumor. There you go, Here we go.
-1.
-2, I guess.
I wonder how much money he could get back to go to receive to go back to Seska. I mean, $10 million a year?
I don't know, but there's some salary opened up because I think one of the most legendary players in KHL history just announced his retirement. And is it Mozyiakin?
Sergei Mozyiakin.
And you played against him, correct, Whit?
I actually never got to play against him. I didn't play against Magnitogorsk my season over there. But
Thank God.
you see the highlights. You see this guy, his numbers. I think he went over to Columbus for like 3 weeks. I don't know the exact extent. Maybe it was a full season, but he was a legend over there.
He got over here. He's like, oh, he thought it was Russia and Columbus. That's what his interpretation of over here was.
Do they worship the cup over there at all? Like, not obviously not to the extent North America, but do guys like really want to have that on their resume with playing there? Did you get that vibe at all?
Yeah, I think guys in the yeah.
I mean,
he's got 2 Gregarian cups.
Gregarian. That's what I'm wondering. Is a Gagarin Cup like in a higher level than the Stanley Cup? Do they hold it higher?
I mean, I'm speaking as an American guy who was there 5 months, but I'm guessing Kucherov, everyone holds him to a little higher ground with the cup than they do some dude on who won it this year. Fuck, Hartley's team?
I think they hold it to a higher standard because it comes full of woof, and it's actually huge. I don't know if you guys have seen how big the cup is actually. So that's kind of why they hold it to a little bit of a different standard.
They get an extra week off before camp.
Yeah, I'm always wondering about that, how much the Russians actually care about the Stanley Cup. But so we'll see what happens with Kirill. Hopefully he comes back because he's a hell of a talent. And the last one, I'm not sure if we mentioned before, that Jack Adams, Rod Brindamore did win it. Well-deserved. And I thought Dean Everson might have got it this year. Joe Quenneville was the third guy in there. So congratulations to Hot Rod on the Jack Adams. All right, moving right along. Big trade. This is a real big trade, I thought. Nashville traded Viktor Arvidsson to L.A. for a second-round pick this year and a third-round pick next year. Arvidsson is 28. He's got 3 years left on his deal at $4.25 million. I think that's one of the best bargains in the league. I mean, this kid's a 30-goal scorer. And if you've seen Instagram, his teammates were really bummed out. I know guys hate to see guys traded, but it seemed like there was a little bit more than usual in this case, Biz.
Well, who sent out the thumbs down?
I think that was Forsberg.
Yeah, Philippe Forsberg. I mean, not oftentimes you see that the emojis coming out after a guy gets dealt, but I mean, what a steal for LA. I mean, we talk about how many times a second rounder is going to end up panning out and making an impact on the NHL, let alone, you said it was a second and a fourth, correct?
Second and a third.
A second and a third. But I mean, 3 more years left at that salary. I think that's an absolute steal. And I think that he had a bit of an off year offensively. Maybe it wasn't this year. Maybe it was a year prior, but I think a great pickup for LA and not giving off a lot. So I don't know what Nashville's thinking on that one. It's not like they have a ton of prospects in the pipeline ready to take that job.
Maybe this had something to do with not losing him for nothing in the draft for Seattle. But I think it is. I think it is hard though. Like Forsberg sees, I'm assuming one of his friends, his countrymen, Arvidsson, who's a great player. I mean, he's had 2 little off years. I mean, the 30-goal season was in 18-19, but still they lose him for nothing. So that's the thing. I would find it very hard to believe that Forsberg would send that thumbs down had a player was coming back, right? He just sees that it's second and third round pick. I mean, if there was another guy from LA, it's kind of tough. But I still,
that's a great point.
You like the move for LA, and you have to think though that to deal him for and get nothing back that's going to help you this season, it was all related to the expansion draft.
Yeah, that would have made for an awkward entrance in the training camp.
Just get
the middle finger emoji. Fuck this shit. Now, here's another thing. You mentioned that they did it to probably make themselves okay to not have him get taken away for nothing, or somebody else even that they couldn't protect for the expansion draft. Now, I don't know how the fuck these GMs keep up, man, because if I would have completely got fleeced if I was a part of that as a general manager. And I mean, I guess you saw a lot of them get fleeced in the last one, so teams are a little bit more prepared.
But you get baked Seattle every day, and the only GM who does that's Stevie Y.
No, and they don't have enough prospects to protect, so he's fine. He's fucking.
I actually read there was an article online today. I don't know where it was.
He's like, take them all, take all these fucking losers.
No, apparently Detroit is like set up to just work the system and end up getting a bunch of players throughout this expansion draft. I don't know. I got to read the whole article. I got to figure out.
Well, I'm actually meeting with Stevie Y for lunch when we're at the ball hockey tournament. So he's actually going to come out. He's going to play on our team. I recruited him. So anybody going to the Detroit
he wants
ball
to play
hockey,
net, right?
Yeah. Yeah, RA.
Gonna have to beat number 34 out for it.
Now, quickly talking about that, RA, that you got a hockey goalie mask made and it got a custom paint job for the tournament.
Well, I suppose it's a good time to announce him coming out of retirement. We were gonna make a video down New York at some point.
Are you gonna be available in the expansion draft?
He's got a He's got a goalie mask like every kid ever to play street hockey, according to RA.
Well, how many people tweeted back that they actually did have them? Quite a few folks. I didn't have one when I was a kid. Now I did. But yeah, our friend did.
What's your paint job?
You didn't see it on the account? I didn't.
No,
I didn't specify. Ask for it. Devo at Cross Country Mortgage, a buddy of his. Maybe you could pull the guy's handle up to give him proper credit. He made it just on a whim, coincidentally. So I'm coming out of retirement. I'm going to play for the Barstool team. We're in the lowest division. I don't have to wear rollerblades. I'm going to be looking like Bobby Brown during that versus Keith Sweat the other night. Absolute pouring buckets. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'll see how bad I look or rusty I am. But I'm probably going to wear that mask. I'm going to try to get my hands on it before we get to Detroit just to make sure I can see out of it and it's a proper fit. I know.
Break that thing in, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited to take a few shots on you. Now, going back to the comment about Detroit picking everybody's pocket in the expansion draft, where did you hear that?
It was an article, and I didn't even click on it. It was literally the headline of the article. I'm going to try to find it right now and see what I can tell you. Let's deal with that as we keep talking. I'll keep looking as we keep talking. We'll get back to how Detroit's going to build a new dynasty throughout this year's expansion draft.
He's going to take me out of the radio booth from the Coyotes and fire me.
I can't wait to go to Detroit, actually. I've only been there for a layover. I'm going to check out the Motown Museum while we're there, Biz. You want to go with me?
You are? I'll go for 100%. A stroll with you.
It's pretty close to where we're staying.
I'll light a J and go listen to you talk to me about the old school stuff. Now you just mentioned the versus stuff with who was it with Bobby Brown?
Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat. Yeah.
Jesus, he's still running. He's still singing.
God bless him, man. Yeah, Bobby Brown's still out there. He's not like regularly touring, but he did that the other night. I mean, him and Keith Sweat, that whole New Jack Swing, they were fucking monsters back in the day. But yeah, it was funny. He was fucking drowning in his own sweat. It was like he'd sing like the first 3 words of a song and like let the crowd sing the rest. It was kind of funny, but
they did it live.
Got it.
What do you got?
The Red Wings are in a prime position to capitalize on the teams who are in the expansion draft binds. This is by Cam Lewis on the dailyfaceoff.com. So you could check it out. I'm not going to read the entire article right here, but there's a way for Stevie Y to just turn around Detroit a lot quicker than people thought, according to this guy, Cam Lewis.
We're going to be seeing a lot of other players on teams with thumb down emojis going when Stevie Y is done before the draft.
We're going to thump a couple Detroit Red Wings in a sandbagger and when we're at our street hockey event. That's for sure.
Any other miscellaneous hockey news?
Lots of it. Duncan Keith is reportedly on the trading block, and Edmonton appear to be the front runners. He does have a no-move clause, so he has a ton of say in where he goes, if he goes. He's going to be 38 next week, but he's got 2 years left at 5.5. I think that's a pretty good bargain. He's playing at a pretty high level, I'd say, even for his age. And he's probably what Edmonton needs, Biz, like a kind of veteran, steady presence on the back line. He's a winner. He can kind of make that contagious in the room, hopefully somehow.
Yeah, winning pedigree, and I think towards the end of his career, I mean, good news for Chicago is they got Jonathan Toews coming back, but all in all, I think that there's a little bit of a rebuild that's going to have to happen. And right now, with all these young studs in Edmonton that they got to get going, they got to start adding a few more pieces. And I think that that's a great one. Now, I would imagine somebody said something about him wanting to head out west. So there was a lot of rumors whether it was going to be Vancouver, whether it was going to be Winnipeg, Calgary. So the front runner seems to be Edmonton. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up anywhere else either. But the key to this was he wants to be back in Western Canada to be closer to his family, similar to what we saw. I don't know if it was a few years ago with Hamonic.
Yeah, that was something where he wanted to be around his family. Yeah, the whole Keith thing, I think his son's getting older and he didn't really get to see him at all last season, it said. And I mean, with what he's done in Chicago, you can totally understand. I don't think any Hawks fan, if they know that's the reason, that's not true. There's definitely some that would dislike him for it. But most people understand.
Chief wrote a hate blog.
No way. Did he?
No, I'm saying.
But if he goes to Vancouver, he said, Chief said if he goes to Vancouver, he was like cursing it. He did blog that.
He said if he goes to Vancouver, Duncan Keith dead to him.
I'll pull it up right now. He definitely blogged it, though. I'll
Well,
put Chiefs.
if I'm a Chicago Blackhawks fan, and I've seen what that guy's done for 15 years, 3 cups, Norris, Olympic golds in the middle of the year, an all-time hockey Hall of Famer, and he wants to be closer to his son, and the Blackhawks, you guys now stink, I would be like, go ahead. Thank you for your service. You're an all-timer in my heart.
Oh, yeah,
No matter where he goes. Fuck Chief. What's he talking about?
Chief, if Duncan Keith ends up in Vancouver, I will puke my guts out. That's
okay. That's different.
Okay, all right.
That might just disgust him that a guy he loves is playing for the Canucks. Love you, Chief. You're just,
I think he goes
so
to
dumb
Seattle.
sometimes.
I think Seattle's an interesting spot too, because they said Pacific Northwest. That's still close to Canada.
Grinelli is like the most educated hockey guy in the podcast now. What the hell happened to us?
He should go live with Buff
We
and make a
retire.
reality show, Biz.
What?
I would be
He
a
should go
time.
find Dustin Byfuglien and live in a cabin and do a reality show with those two. Because no
You
one's.
think Buff knows who's playing in the finals right now?
Good question. He's probably
Actually, I have no idea. Buff could be an enormous hockey fan away from the rink. I'm guessing he isn't. He's probably just fishing his hog off right now, catching a bunch of 40-inch trout.
steelheads. What's that? A walleye. That's a big fish in Minnesota, right? Walleye.
Do you
No
eat
clue.
walleye?
I hope so. I think so.
I've never eaten it.
I've never eaten it either.
I'm a straight up salmon guy. I like fish. What are they called? Fish and chips. So that's not salmon, right? That's fried. What kind of fish is
Cod?
fish and
That
chips?
that
Cod?
could be any. It could be any kind of fucking cod and haddock's expensive, so it's probably even a lesser fish
Okay,
than
so
that.
but if I'm going to a restaurant and getting fish, I'm getting the salmon grilled, or maybe once in a while at a nice place you get that sea bass that melts in your mouth.
Ooh.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
But swordfish doesn't do it for me.
Really? You don't like swordfish? Wow.
I feel like it's just it looks so much better than it is. I don't dislike it, but I'm not going to order it at a restaurant.
I think we're gonna have about half our listeners shut the pod off. I'm a big fillet of fish guy.
I don't give a fuck
my
if they
God.
shut the pot off, Biz. How about that?
You really you for real?
I don't mind a nice fillet. It's got to be like warm right off the whatever they serve it off of.
the
out of the-
later.
Yeah, the what does it come out of? What do they even cook a fillet of fish in?
I probably just fry it. I would imagine.
Oh, really?
I've
Well,
never had
I
them.
like fillet of fish. My
I've
old
never had
man
it.
turned me on to them when I was younger, so I've always had a thing for them.
I've never had a fillet of fish, a Whopper, or a Taco Bell.
What are you shaking your head for, Grinelli?
This has got to be some kind of McDonald's swipe up ad read for you.
No,
There's no way
no.
you actually like a filet o fish.
No,
Biz,
When I-
Biz
if I go to
Swiss
Mickey
burner
D's-
just got 20 grand dropped in it.
I don't go to Mickey D's very often. It's only if I'm in a bind.
Wait, you
Like,
get it at Mickey D's?
That's the only place.
Oh
that has
yeah, that's
filet
where
of
you
fish.
get a fillet of fish with, and then I get salt.
Oh my God. I was about to say, how about they have those at McDonald's? If you ever get one of those, you're the biggest piece of shit known to
That's what
man.
I'm
And
saying.
you just said that's what you get? Oh my God. I was reading about Duncan Keith.
Oh my God, filet
Jesus
o fish.
Christ. You get fish from McDonald's?
fillet of fish, yeah.
Oh, you're a piece of trash, bro. You're the biggest
No,
piece of
I don't
trash.
mind a fillet of. Not, hey, buddy, I ain't getting them every day. Like once.
And then
every,
when you said your dad got him into, so your dad's been having them your whole life?
yeah, we used to go to McDonald's once in a while, grab a fillet of fish. I used to get. I like getting the fries no salt. Fries no salt, nice fillet of fish. Yeah.
Dude, if you live that close to the water, there's no need to eat filet of fish. You can get something closer somewhere. But hey, whatever. To each his own.
We just lost half our fans. Sorry, guys.
No.
Yeah,
Fish-
because you eat
'Cause
filet
you-
of fish from McDonald's. They'll never listen again.
I heard, and this, I'm just probably a rumor, maybe I'm passing along, that the fish and chips in London and in England, it's actually like dogfish, sand sharks. Like they catch them and just
Hey.
sell them.
The fish and chips I've had in England and Ireland and Scotland were all top notch. Maybe it's one of those things you're there and like, just being there, you like want it more. It tastes good. Kind of like Guinness tastes better over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I love them, no matter if they're dog shark or whatever you called it.
Yeah,
They could-
dogfish, sand shark.
Dogfish. Never heard of that. I had a dogfish IPA recently though.
Yeah, that's a sand shark and a dogfish is the same thing. You didn't know that?
All right, well,
A lot of
we
guys.
can move on.
I mean, if Duncan Keith does get traded, like we all expect, and he's going to have a new home and he's going to want a new home security system as well. When Simply Safe Home Security founders Chad and Eleanor Lawrence designed their first security system in their kitchen, they did it for a very personal reason. Their friends had just had their home broken into. They were struggling to find a security system that was simple to set up and would make them feel safe again. Well, making people feel safe is what Simply Safe has been doing ever since that moment 15 years ago. And Simply Safe makes it so easy as it only takes about 2 minutes to customize the system when you visit simplysafe.com/chiclets. Not to mention setting it up at home. If you're like me and not much of a handyman, there's nothing to worry about because it's super easy to get it going. Simply Safe has highly trained security experts ready whenever you need them. Whether that's a fire, a burglary, a medical emergency, or even if you're just setting the system up, there's always someone there who has your back to keep you safe and make you feel safe. To learn more about how Simply Safe can protect you and your family, visit simplysafe.com/chiclets today to customize your system and get a free security camera. You also get a 60-day risk-free trial, so there's nothing to lose. One more time, that's simplysafe.com/chiclets. All right, moving right along here. Biz, some news from your neck of the woods. Andre Turigny, I think you say it, he was named coach of the Coyotes. He's the 8th coach in team history. He's been an NHL assistant and a major junior coach, most recently with the Ottawa 67s, where he won Coach of the Year 2 years in a row. The team, of course, has only had one playoff appearance in the last 8 years. He'll be looking to change that. Biz, let's go to the Coyotes expert.
Yo, Turwagon, great hire. We're winning the cup.
There you go.
No, but on a serious note, young guy coming out of junior, it'd probably be, good for the young guys to have a guy who's used to coaching young guys and maybe a little more accepting of this next wave of player. Because, I mean, it's hard, man. Talk was a champion. He won as a player. He won as an assistant. He knows what it takes. And the Coyotes aren't quite there. So hopefully, these young guys are able to get a little bit more leash and find a way to win with this guy coming in. So, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. I guess we'll see next season.
All right. Sounds good, Biz. Moving right along. Toronto signed.
You think he'll be the coach when they leave Arizona, Biz?
Oh, shit. Wow. That's a bad one.
All right. What do you want to do about that? Do you want to move along or do you want me to respond to this clown?
It's your call, buddy. I was already moving it along, but
who do you even root for? Who's your squad? Do you have a team?
I root for my friends in the league. So when I don't have any more friends in the league,
I'm not your friend.
Done.
I'm not your friend.
You're not in the league.
I work for the Arizona Coyotes.
I actually would be very happy if the Coyotes did well, and I'd love to see them in Scottsdale ripping it up. I just think where their arena is such a joke. If they could move to Scottsdale, I'd really be all in. Even if they did well now, I'd be happy. But I kind of feel like there's a market out there that would just be better served with NHL hockey than that Glendale area is.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Like downtown Scottsdale.
Like downtown, move that thing to downtown Scottsdale.
I agree with you.
I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know if it's ever discussed.
I think the arena situation is something that's holding things back a little bit, but hopefully that gets figured out soon and we're able to move to an area that's a little bit more lively. Because you talk to guys who used to play here for the Phoenix Coyotes when they were sharing the rink with the Suns. Now, by the way, congratulations to the Suns going off to the finals.
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4. But yeah, they said it was rocking back then where there'd be like rockets sitting front row and it just would create the atmosphere. Tunes would be bumping. And this isn't a situation where when they put the hockey rink in the old, where they used to be, when you were sitting in the upper bowl on one side, you couldn't even see from the blue line in. So people would still show up. Yeah, you wouldn't even see what was going on, whether it was the D zone or O zone, depending on what period. So I agree. Location. Get it into Scottsdale. Now that sports gambling became legal here too, and they gave a license to each of the professional sports teams. So you got that. So you got that going for you now. So that the sports gambling play has created some momentum for the Coyotes. And I hope that they're able to figure out something with the arena situation. And it sucks, man, because like they spent all this money building a brand new facility. And if anybody's been to that rink in Glendale, it's gorgeous. Like there's nothing wrong with that facility.
Maybe they can throw it on a big old truck. You know how trucks carry houses around and just place it down somewhere else? Maybe
I was
we
actually
get a monster truck.
I was thinking that the other day.
Just move the building to Scottsdale.
Yeah, because it's been 25 fucking years, man, and that team just seems to have.
You have to do it in pieces. I don't think you could get it all on one truck, but I think you just have to break it down.
Oh man, I'm picturing a big old truck,
big wide load.
Maybe one of those new Tesla ones that they're coming out with.
Oh, I heard those are great. Some people told me they pre-ordered those. I love the Tesla screen that lets you know that the dog in the car is okay. hey, don't worry, this is Gary. He's in the back seat. It's 68 degrees. Like
So
that Tesla, they're always ahead of the game.
To sum it up, Biz is reporting
my car every night though.
Biz is reporting that Tesla is going to drive the Glendale facility to Scottsdale with one of those driverless Tesla cars. So hopefully it gets there.
I bought a lot in PV, so we'll just slab it right there if they can't get any land.
Boom, done. All right, moving right along. Toronto signed Wayne Simmons to a 2-year, $1.8 million extension. He'll be 33 in August, 7 goals, 2 assists in 38 games last year, 1 assist in the playoffs. Were you a little surprised he got a 2-year deal with, given the miles on him and his age?
Yes, a little bit, but happy for him.
Oh, 100%.
It seems as you get older, you get the 1-year deals, guys that are just kind of hanging on. Not that he's just hanging on by any means, but yes, he's at an age where you think 1-year deal would make more sense, but they obviously love what they saw. He did battle through some injuries this year, and when he was going, I mean, it's the guy, he plays physical in front. He'll fight anyone. He can score. So he definitely added a good
element.
Exactly. All right. Thank you to Toronto's game. And that was what they needed. So I'm happy for him to get a 2-year deal. We've talked since this podcast began that guy always missed his window. He was never a free agent, during those heavy years when he was fighting all the time and getting 30 and in Philly when he was dominant. He kind of always got screwed of getting a big payday. So the more term he gets on any deal, the happier I am for him.
I think he signed a 6-year deal at maybe like 3.75 when he was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that probably was worded wrong by me, but he never got like the $40 million deal that he
No, I think 1 year after that deal, he was like, fuck, because he was overachieving it in no time.
Yes.
Now, the way I look at this deal, similar to the Pat Maroon deal. I know Pat Maroon, I think, is a few years younger, but you guys know how much I value toughness and how important it is, especially in the depth of the lineup. And I thought he had a solid year. He did deal with that hand injury when he took a puck off the hand and or wrist, but they lock him in a low AAV. And I think that, moving forward, when this team does have success, because I think it is coming, I think that they got that guy who can solidify that bottom 6 and he's willing to compete. And you saw in time of need this year, when they needed a guy to step up and get in a Donnybrook, he wasn't shy. He has not lost his spark. And he has 100% assumed that role and being the guy where he can be relied on for that. I just fucking hit that breakdown out of the park. So I don't know if you guys want to follow me up.
You did and you didn't. You did and you didn't, because I don't want you to take heat, but you compared it to Maroon. Do you mean as a player? Because Maroon keeps getting 1-year deals, and we're talking about how he got that 2nd year.
No, I'm pretty sure Pat Maroon got a 2-year deal at $900 last offseason.
Wow, I hope you just dunked on me. I thought he got another 1-year deal. I apologize.
Grinelli, help me out.
I apologize to you and Big Rig. Unless I'm right, please let me be right on this one. They won the cup. No, I think you're right. I think he did get a 2-year.
Maroon is currently in his 2nd year of a 2-year deal.
Oh my God!
Do a loser lap.
Do a loser lap. Let's finish this segment off.
The entire segment. I'm a loser. I'm a bum. You got me,
folks. I bet you there's so many listeners that are just loving you say that. Give it one more time. Actually, don't even say it, Grinelli. Just run it back one more time. Just take the audio and run it back.
The thing is about me, I can admit when I'm wrong, man. You guys know in the history of this podcast, it just happens so infrequently. Me being wrong, I don't have to say it that much.
That's true. Well, I'm going to gloat. What else do we got, RA? We can move on after I just nailed that segment.
Absolutely. Another former teammate of the Wit Dog, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, signed an 8-year, $41 million extension with the Oilers. The 28-year-old number 1 overall pick back in 2011. Also gets a full no-move clause, which is pretty sweet if you're a player. It seemed like the league, general managers stopped giving those out willy-nilly like they were a few years ago, but getting one for 8 years is clutch. Comes out to $5.125 million a year. Whit, you played with him. Let's get your take.
Yeah, very happy for this guy. Was surprised about the full no move. It's all 8 years, all right?
According to Cap Friendly, the NMC is there for all 8 years. Yep.
Okay, so now maybe that's an example of getting a guy to stay there for 8 years and maybe the money being a little less, but you throw the no movement clause and right?
Is that the first time in history that somebody's gotten a no movement clause out of Edmonton?
Oh, that like the guy.
Like normally it's like I should get the option if I want to move clause.
Sure, I'll be like nobody gets them.
He's like, wait a minute.
No, there was guys before.
Like you don't want to go anywhere.
You do not even think about putting an NMC on that contract offer. Yeah, but this guy, he is the nastiest skater. Nobody on his edges. I remember when I was coming back from ankle surgery, he was coming back from an injury too. Might have been his shoulder. Yeah, Nuge separated his shoulder one of the years. He was lighting it up and just took a screamer, nobody near him, into the boards and busted up his shoulder. It was one of the goofier injuries by a first overall pick in the history of hockey.
Same log that got you when you were at Pittsburgh?
I think we were buckled in Chicago a couple nights prior to that. If I'm correct, that is but he's gone on and, maybe never lived up to the first overall pick offensively. But if you talk to guys on Edmonton and you look at the deal he just signed, he's so good both ends of the ice, and he's like guy who's what you're kind of getting every night. I just thought he was a hell of a player at a young age, and knew he'd end up being just basically one of those 15, 20-year NHLers. The way he skates and thinks, it was a no-brainer that he gets offered this deal to stay, because if they look at the future of Edmonton and try and win a cup, having him there just over 5 average hit, that's nice.
Now, I think last year he was basically the second line center. I think if Edmonton's able to become a Stanley Cup contender, I think he's an unbelievable top tier third line center. Would you agree? And at that price for that long, I think that's a great contract for both sides. I couldn't be happier for the guy. And when you look down the list, I mean, he might be one of the highest paid NHLers by the time this thing's all over. What did he get on the last deal? I think he signed just over 6 times 6. And then that's not even including his entry-level deal. So I tell you what, a hell of a career for this guy, extremely well-liked by his teammates, absolutely no riffraff off the ice, just a great, humble human being. I actually used to train with him a little bit with his brother, Adam, at Fortius in
Really?
Vancouver. So takes his off season very seriously, always in the gym. Yeah, his brother's
I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was I don't know if he was 13 or 14. Could have been even 12. But one of those years at that age, right? Hockey, like, you're getting ready for junior. Dude, the kid didn't play hockey a full season and was the first overall pick when he was 18 years old. So he is a natural, right? And I don't remember if he was one of those guys that maybe started or did some sort of figure skating, right? You know how people talk about Jeff Skinner that way?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a guy you want to bring up when talking about 8-year deals, but skating wise, you know what I'm saying? In terms of I think on his edges, he's been either started as a figure skater and figured out, or just been incredible skating his entire life.
Incredibler.
Nice talk. I'm so fucking rattled ever since
Did you transform into Biz this episode?
I tried dunking on you, and then I didn't, and now I'm frazzled.
Chaz Michaels, a.k.a. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, congratulations on a wonderful deal. And I think Eriksson Ek ended up getting a very similar one too, right? All right.
Yeah, we're just going to get to that. Nugent-Hopkins, per cap friendly biz, estimated career earnings, 44 million, just over 44 million before this deal. So he's going to be over 80 when his career ends.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Living in Edmonton, you're basically like a prince of Dubai.
No, it's coming at Edmonton.
Same amount of oil too.
I would never go at Edmonton.
A pet peeve of mine, Biz, is he's the number 1 overall pick. I hate when people say the former number 1 overall pick. It's like, no, you're always the number 1 pick of that draft. You're not former.
You hate when people say former number 1 overall pick.
Even if they call you you were pick what, 5th? The former 5th, former number 5 pick. No, you're always that number 5 pick of that draft. You're never former. You're always that pick.
I'm actually starting to enjoy.
Instead of saying the 2002 5th overall pick, they say former.
Yeah, but
I'll say I'm starting to like these segments, and when I say segment, we should turn it into a segment. The stuff
that pisses off RA.
The biggest mind pretzel one was when he hates when they warn people that there's sharks in the water. That one really, I was like, what? You hate?
I liked when
he's like, why do they report? Of course, there's sharks in the water. It's like,
no, I say when they make a big giant fucking news segment about sharks in the water. I'm fine with putting the sign there because tourists might not know that Cape Cod is sharks fucking 20 feet away.
I like when he wanted the guy in front of a firing squad that paid Marchand's ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, I ended up getting a DM from him on Instagram. He's
guy?
a nice guy. Yeah. He reached out. He had a laugh about it. He just said, hey, I love what the guy did. And he gave him I think he gave him like $30 toward the ticket or whatever. So yeah, we had a cordial chat over DM.
Anything else pissing you off? All right. Let's
give me a minute.
it off your chest.
Give me a minute. All right. Minnesota's Joel Eriksson Ek signed an 8-year, $42 million extension, comes out to $5.25 a year. The 24-year-old had 19 goals last year, 11 assists in 56 games. And I know we talked about him in only the one series Minnesota played, but his two-way play in the playoffs, man, he really stood out, I thought, in that series this year. I could see why they want to build with this kid in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. First overall pick, it was 6 years ago. I think when Guerin came on, maybe he wasn't even sure what he had with him, but he had a great year. Actually, they talked about a game in Minnesota this year. He blocked like 3 Shea Weber bombs late in the game. And the way he plays, I think he's a top two-way center. I think offensively, there's definitely a lot there to grow and build on. But he was matched up against number one lines the entire season. And he showed that he's willing and wants to be there with signing there. And also, if he ends up becoming what they think he can become, he'll be underpaid. So they look for him to outperform this deal. But to get 8 years and know that he's a guy who is happy to be there and likes where the team's going, it's a great signing. They also got Bjugstad for, I think, $900,000. So you're able to, figure out some depth. And Bjugstad can play center or wing lower down the lineup. But I like this signing for Minnesota.
I like how they're so big, and we're seeing a common theme right now with everyone going back to being like a big, heavy team. And I mean, it's funny. We were talking about the Wayne Simmons contract. I could easily see this guy outperforming this thing by next year. I mean, he had 19 goals this year in a shortened season. And I think that's a great average for a guy who can play, top line minutes against league's best. Like he's, would you consider him more of a kind of like a shutdown guy?
Yeah, I think he's certainly better defensively than he is offensively, but he's so good on the defensive side of the puck that if you start to see the offense come, which he had like a monster World Junior, he was a first rounder. Like obviously there's skill there.
Right. Yeah. So I think he could be outperforming this thing in no time. And another great move by Billy G.
Yeah, 19 tucks last year, Biz. So if he bumps that a little, definitely get some value there. All right, well, the way you use the internet has changed dramatically over the last decade, but security tools have mostly stayed the same. Aura provides complete digital security to help protect your online accounts, finances, and devices, and much more, all in one easy-to-use app. Aura provides digital security protection to keep your online finances, personal information, and tech safe from online threats. It's all-in-one protection from identity theft, financial fraud, malware, scam sites, and much more. With Aura, you'll get alerted to fraud and threats fast. Like if your online accounts or passwords were leaked online or if someone tries to open a bank account in your name. And Aura is very easy to set up. All plans come with $1 million in identity theft insurance to help recover your stolen funds and experienced U.S.-based customer support that's got your back. Aura is a new type of security service that protects all of your online information and devices with one simple subscription. With an easy online dashboard and alerts sent straight to your phone, Aura keeps you in control and guides you through solving any issues. And for a limited time, Aura is offering our listeners up to 40% off with plans when you visit aura.com/chiclets. So go to aura.com/chiclets to get complete protection and savings of up to 40%. That's AURA.com/chiclets.
I have to mention Hockey Miscellaneous, the stat we did forget that is absolutely wild is that this marks since 1980 there's been a teammate of Jaromir Jagr in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Crazy.
41 years. Are you kidding me? That might be the craziest Jagr stat I've heard, and there's 5 million of them.
It's funny to think he played with Trottier. I mean, he was 18 and 19 when he did, but that is some wild connection.
I thought you were going to bust out the Joey Chestnut stat there. You blindsided me. 76 hot dogs, broke his own record. 14 of the last 15 hot dog eating contests on July.
Who got him? Who got him the one that he lost?
No clue. Big cat.
That guy's the legend.
There's a lot of hot dog chatter, mustard, ketchup. Where do you come down on what you put in your hot dog, Biz?
I like ketchup, mustard, and relish. I like putting like a little bit of onion on it. I like dressing it up, but I also would like a sausage better than I would a hot dog. I'm not a big hot dog guy. I like it when it's a little charred too.
Yeah, I like a hot dog.
When they pull them out of the water, I think that's fucking disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah, I don't want a hot dog cooked on the stove in boiled water. I want a hot dog on the grill, and I want the bun toasted. But I will say I was shocked at like the anger towards was it Portnoy? Like, I put just ketchup on my hot dogs. I didn't know that was like a weird thing. People were all over him for that. Is that not normal? Just ketchup on your dog?
Well, it's something that always gets popped up. Someone will be like, "Oh, you put ketchup on," and it's usually like 75% people like that's gross, and the other people who like it still do.
What is the difference between mustard and ketchup on a hot dog? I can't even.
Well, mustard's one spice, got a little spice. Zip. Ketchup's almost like putting candy on it. It's just sweet corn syrup and sugar.
I'll say if like the options aren't there, like sometimes you go get a hot dog at a place and like it feels like they're at the bottom of the barrel with some of the stuff you put on it, and it's like watery and it doesn't look fresh. So sometimes I'll just keep it off the glass and out and just do ketchup.
What's weird is though, I actually like a Fenway Frank, and those are like definitely boiled, right? And then like the bun isn't toasted. So I guess I can do a dog anyway. I'm a real dog guy. I like sausages too, though, Biz. I'm with you on that.
Is he one of the most dominant athletes of our time, given the fact that he's won that 14 of the last 15 times? And I think the next guy in line, who's in second place, only ate 50 hot dogs.
If people won't admit like golfers are athletes and they try saying he's an athlete, I'll throw up. I actually couldn't really watch the competition. It makes me sick. Yeah, like the way they dip it in the water and the bun and like, no, oh my God, I couldn't watch it. Now the feed was like going out. I was in the kitchen doing one of like if it was like a bad injury, I'd like barely look and then snap my head away. But I saw that the coverage was out. It was going in and out. But just the thought of like the dump he's going to take after and the stomach and how he does that, it makes me so sick to my stomach to hear you call him an athlete.
I watched a little a documentary on how they train in order to expand their stomachs. Now, let me ask you this. Would you rather eat a hot dog with no ketchup, no nothing, no condiments on it, boiled, not grilled, and then dipped in water? Would you rather eat that or a fillet of fish?
Oh, the hot dog dipped in water.
I would rather eat a hot dog dipped in fucking acid than I'd eat a fillet of fish from McDonald's.
What kind of acid are we talking here?
Always like shit. Don't waste that.
The last thing on hot dogs is it's giving us that gif of the lady getting the 7 hot dogs to the face. Do you ever see that one? Some lady, she just like the random thing. You never seen it, Biz? Hot dogs.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just essentially means somebody likes dick.
Yeah. Hey, good for them. Looks like Chris Chelios is also heading to ESPN. Per Andrew Marchand, who New York Post, he's been all over that reporting. I'm curious to see if he might become the next Charles Barkley. You think that's a possibility, Biz? Because Chelios don't give a fuck. He'll say whatever. Like, he's got $1 gazillion, kill a tan, 17 cups. Like, what does he care?
Oh, I completely agree with you. I cannot wait. I'll tell you what, ESPN's done a great job of filling up that. I guess do you call it a panel? What's that? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've seen that. All right.
I know. Okay. G just said this. Go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, okay. No worries. 3, 2, 1. Man, I'm really excited for not only him, but the whole panel. ESPN's done a great job of filling it. I mean, Ray Ferraro, we can go down the whole list, but this is one of the latest additions. And I agree with you. He'll let it fly. He's the type of guy, if you fired him, I don't think he'd give a fiddler's fuck. So yes, exactly. He's going to let it fly and say exactly what he's thinking. And not too long ago, I don't know if it was when they had the last Olympics on, when him and Brett Hall were doing a little bit of color, when they brought them on as far as the panel's concerned. And I thought they were fun and refreshing because it was kind of like two guys just sitting at the bar shooting the shit. Now, I guess maybe sometimes that's not everybody's speed and maybe it's not as informative as they want it, but I cannot wait to listen to him let it fly on ESPN.
My biggest thing with ESPN, and congrats to Chelios, that's awesome. I do think he'll be great. He'll be great at it, but with ESPN and TNT and how this is going to, I'm just so fired up to watch now when this season begins. Because, Twitter and these clowns online will have their takes here and there. I mean, I've never really had a hot take, so I'll probably keep it dry. But I want to see the broadcast. I want to see what they change intermission-wise. I want to see the the connection and vibes the color and the analysts have with each other. So it's really making me look forward to the beginning of next season just to see how this all goes down with two new networks looking to like prove their mettle, right?
Bingo.
I like the theme music too, Whit, for ESPN.
Awesome.
It's so
awesome.
good. It's going to be great to hear that again.
Since we're talking about color guys and this and that, Kenny Albert, he is awesome.
Yeah,
he's been doing the whole finals. He is a treat to listen to.
Him first Cup final too.
Is it really? Yeah, him and Eddie O are just buzzing up there.
Yeah, they got great chemistry. He does a great job calling the game.
One thing I like about Eddie O too is he's not shy to be critical. If he's seeing something he's not liking, he'll call it right out. So it's just pure honesty with that guy.
Yeah, that's what you want. Let's see. A couple other notes here. The All-Star game next year, 2022, will be in Las Vegas. So you might see us there. Hopefully. We went to the All-Star game the last couple ones. So, and we've been dying to get to Vegas. They couldn't get to the final this year, so they didn't make it happen. But next year we will be there, and we may well be in Nashville as well. They're going to get an outdoor game next season. They haven't announced the specifics yet. Assume probably one of the football stadiums in Nashville, either Vanderbilt or where the Titans play. And Minnesota's also going to get an outdoor game too because they got bumped because of the pandemic last Winter Classic. So hopefully we'll be there too.
Is there no Winter Classic scheduled for next year?
They haven't. I'm sure they're going to do one. They just haven't specified what's going to go where yet.
Okay.
The last time I checked, but I mean, I think it would be reasonable to assume the mini will keep the Winter Classic. I think that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? If they were going to get it last year, they should get it this year. It wasn't their fault that got canceled.
Hopefully, somewhere cold where the ice stays.
Yeah, Minnesota and January should do that. Let's see. The Toronto Maple Leafs now own the longest cup drought in league history at 19,786 days. They can pass the Rangers, who had a drought from 1940 to 1994. So congratulations, Leafs fans, on a new record. Jonathan Toews released a video saying he's feeling much better, and he went into a little bit of detail about what happened last season. He cited something called chronic immune response system. And basically he was just worn down. He was just kind of physically and mentally beat. I mean, he mentioned like not feeling good at all during his 20s, which is kind of like a weird thing to hear. I know you guys are athletes and you're banged up all the time, but he basically was just like hurt for his entire 20s. So either way, we're glad he's feeling well and get him back on the ice next year, ideally. What's up, Biz? Did you want?
Well, no, I was just going to say there was a point in time where his offensive production just wasn't where it used to be. And I don't think it didn't seem like there was something off, but he just, probably didn't have that energy. And to find out he was battling through this, for many years and finally ended up taking some time away. It's good, man. And I hope he's able to come back and get to that level of playing that he once was at, because he was, when he was in his prime and he was winning those cups with the Blackhawks, man, he was probably one of the best two-way forwards in the game. And, from a fan standpoint, I feel like we were kind of stripped of that too early, and I hope he's able to bounce back. And I'm glad that he took some time off in order to hit the reset button, man, because he's a heck of a fucking player.
Yeah. And you always kind of wondered what was going on. And that's when the rumor game is scary. You heard some things that were, thank God, not true. And I think that in the end, it's best for the league to have this guy playing. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. And I was just happy for him because it seemed like he almost feels a little relieved to finally feel better and get back on the ice doing what he loves. So good luck to him. Well,
and probably a little bit relieved finally finding out what was wrong. Right.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the fear factor is when you don't know what's going on in your body. It's just like, that's petrifying.
And then you're communicating that to people, and then they just, there's nothing to show for it. It's just, it could be a frustrating thing, man. So happy to hear he's doing better. And that video that they posted, he looked great, looked in great shape. So I'm glad he's back to doing what he loves.
Yeah. And I almost didn't even want to mention it, but it is relevant. He did have COVID too, but he didn't want that to everyone talk about that, make it look like he was sick because of that. I think it might have just been coincidental that he was going through these things and did get COVID. But, he mentioned he had. I just don't want to leave that out.
I think what he said was he thinks it could have amplified what was going on. Is that kind of how he communicated it?
Might have exacerbated. Yeah, it might have exacerbated it. But like he mentioned, hurting in his 20s, that had nothing to do with COVID. So I think it was just a lot of wear and tear. And like I said, whatever the name of what's the word? When the doctor tells you what you have, this is such an easy one.
Diagnosis.
Yeah, it was a diagnosis I hadn't heard of before. But either way, we're glad he's healthy, and we're looking forward to getting him back next year. A few other news items here. Kirk Ludicki and Jeff Cox of the New England Hockey Journal. Jay Pandolfo, who was an assistant coach in Boston for the last few years, is leaving the Bruins to join his alma mater in Wits, Boston University, and will be the associate head coach on Albie O'Connell's staff. Well, you know Jay pretty good.
I love him. Jay Pandolfo, BU legend, national champion,
Grinnell's neighbor,
all-time player there from Burlington. And I think that, you know, it's stability in your life, right? I mean, he's got kids playing hockey, and, you know, the NHL schedule, being a coach, it's hard. I mean, you're not only on the road, we talked about it before. I mean, you're doing video nonstop, and there's a lot of work at BU with recruiting and everything, but nothing close to the travel of pro hockey in the NHL. And so for a guy to go back to his alma mater, a power team in college hockey, looking to get back in the national title races, I was really happy for him and happy for BU.
Well said, buddy. Well said.
Thank you.
Congrats to Stephen Johns on his continental journey, I guess you'd call it. He rollerbladed across the whole country, finished at the Pacific Ocean. But I saw the picture of him. He stopped at the very last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, and him and his buddy, and they like kind of crouched down with like the prayer pose in front of Blockbuster, which I thought it was pretty funny, like of all the places to stop at. But hey, good for him, man. He's raising awareness about the mental issues that you guys and, you know, former and current players have gone through. And it feels like something, you know, people talk about more and more, because this guy had some bad concussions and he said he was in real dark places, and this is the best he's felt in months. So we're happy to hear that, Steve, and we'll get you on the show soon enough. And I hope you're feeling better. Biz, what do you got, buddy?
I think he was on the Ray and Dregs podcast as well, talking about, you know, why he decided to take the journey. And, you know, it's not hard, guys. You go from doing something your whole life and all of a sudden it's, you know, you're not going to be doing it anymore. And then I guess you have a lot of questions where things are going. So yeah, I'd be interested to get him on and just, you know, pick his brain about, you know, why he did it and take a deeper dive into the conversation.
I had a love-hate affair with Blockbuster, Biz, because I worked at a mom and pop video store, and Blockbuster come and just fucking shut them all down. They murdered you. But I also had to go there because they got movies I couldn't get at my store. So
hey, and then they got bent over and shut down.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, I heard a story that Netflix tried to buy a Blockbuster at a pretty good evaluation.
I think they could have sold for big dough at one point,
and then they just took them over.
Actually, there's a pretty good documentary that goes into detail about it, because Blockbuster.
Oh, I'd like that.
Yeah, they could have gotten into it, but it's a little more convoluted than that. The guy actually explains it very well. It's called The Last Blockbuster. It's a fun little doc. I mean, especially if you're from that era. I don't know if it's on Prime or whatever.
Oh, buddy, we've definitely talked about this, but I remember going and then the movies be out and you'd check up front and they had one at the front that they hadn't rewound and put back in the aisle. And it was a whole scene going to Blockbuster. My mom, we got like a 15-minute limit because he used to be in there 50 minutes arguing with Colin and Sean. No, we already watched that. I can't stand that. But they had the candy, the movie-sized candy at the end of the Blockbuster. It was all-time scene going in there. I loved it. That's why I want to watch that documentary. Also, speaking of the burying of Blockbuster, it kind of made me think of Jeff Bezos, because, you know, Amazon's buried so many companies, and today he stepped down as CEO. Dude, $200 billion he has. I read a thing he could buy every single professional sports league team in the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and NFL, and still have a couple billion left over.
Obscene. So he stepped down, really? I wonder if something, scandal afoot. That's weird for him to just suddenly step
I don't
down.
think he did it suddenly. I think it had come out, and today was his final day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. Maybe when he got divorced and he gave his wife like $80 billion, maybe that made him maybe want to take a step back.
She's been giving a lot away. Eddie. She's a lot more into the philanthropy.
Philanthropic? Say it all right?
Philanthropy?
Can you say it's
philanthropic?
So I'm adding a second word, I think.
Philanthropic is an adjective.
Brunelli got it.
Yep, philanthropic.
You are humming right now. That fucking sunburn you got, the sun must have powered you up with brains.
Little vitamin D can go a long way.
Maybe he smoked some crack before this episode.
How do you I guess we probably shouldn't get into it because it's kind of a touchy subject, but how do you feel about somebody hoarding that much money? I know a lot of it is probably still in shares, RA, but
I mean, I don't think. Do you know what he's given away? I'm a big time arguer of like how can you be so mad at a billionaire? If they give away money, if they give money to charity and stuff, like if they don't, fuck them. But if they give away a lot of money, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, if anything, fucking call Amazon a monopoly and change that whole ordeal.
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
RA hates billionaires, I think.
I don't think I've ever expressed an opinion about billionaires on the show or to you in person.
Maybe you told me you hated an episode of Billions.
Because you think I think certain things. I think that's what it is.
Another rumor.
Yeah,
Rumor mill.
Rumor. RA hates billionaires. It says you'll only sleep with millionaires.
You guys got the same haircut. You guys go to the same barber?
Yeah, I actually went today. My boy Pat the barber took it down to the nub, and then from here I'll just go with the straight, the old Mark III. I bought Razor's Hot Biz in the mid '90s. I still have like dozens left. I'll never have to buy another razor so as long as I live. What's up,
Jeff Bezos made the largest donation of 2020. He donated $10 billion to fight climate change.
Well, it didn't work.
Maybe think of a better place to give the money to, dude.
Yeah, that's just going to go fucking get squandered. It's most of it.
Well, they better be using it to put out that fire in the ocean that's going on.
You were going to say $10 billion to the Boys and Girls Club. Not the fucking...
Just fucking give people fucking cash or pay their bills or do something, man. You can change lives with that much money. Yeah, if you earned it, it's yours. I mean, Biz, to answer your question, it is an obscene amount of money to have, but I don't know, man. That's the fucking way of the world. If someone does invent something or has a company, but I think you got to be kind of ruthless in a certain way to get to that level to like want to have that much money and whatever. I'm kind of neutral. But I would say I would judge the individual. I don't hate billionaires.
Fair enough.
Collectively,
I'm with you, all right. I'm with you.
Read up on him. Like, this guy's a dickhead. He could do more. This guy's a dickhead or whatever. So, I want your input on this one. This Josh Richards is going to be working with the NHL. He's a TikTok star that the kids tell me.
Yeah, he's an enormous social media creator. He does the BFFs pod with Dave. And yeah, the NHL brought him in to help younger fans, grow the game in that sense. And it's crazy that people are giving this kid so much shit. It's like, let him do his thing. Like, he hasn't even before his first day on the job, people are already destroying the kid. Like, let him try. Like, let's see what he has.
That's hockey Twitter, man.
It's the worst.
The people who are destroying him
stinks.
The people who are destroying him, he wasn't hired to even deal with any of those people. He's getting the younger age group hopefully into hockey. He is 18 years old, 19 years old?
He's 19 and he's younger and richer than every single person that's ripping on him. It's like, dude, he's doing better than all you guys.
I think that from what I've heard, he seems like a kid who actually has his head on his shoulders, seems like somebody who's driven for success and like works really hard. And I think that you got to applaud the NHL when we make fun of their decisions for their musical acts at the All-Star game and shit. You also got to give them some props when they're bringing a younger face from the internet into the game. I mean, that's only going to get, what happens if like a tenth of his following starts watching NHL games because he's into it? It's like, how many people actually follow this kid on all of his platforms combined? It's an amazing thing to think that you could get shit on as a business, as the NHL, for bringing in a kid who's very popular with younger people as you're trying to grow your game. I love the move.
Yeah,
we got to interview him.
Hey guys, I'm not even a TikTok guy. I don't even understand what the fuck it is. But like you said, he's got
I love the videos.
I think this kid's a lot more than just a TikToker, though.
Correct, but that's where he originated, and that's where he's got a massive amount of his following. And, of course, it transferred over onto Instagram. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I don't consume what he's putting out, but I understand that if you're an organization and or a major sports league, you need to worry about your next wave of consumer. And if he can attract all these young fans who haven't really latched on to a certain sport yet, well, if he's into it and then all of a sudden they're going to start following it, it's only going to mean our game grows. And I tell you what, I work for an organization and we could use a few extra fans. Josh, direct a few extra our way and we'll get Glendale sold out. We don't need to put it on this big fucking truck and move it down the way to fucking Scottsdale. How about that?
We still got to work on getting that truck from Bezos, but we'll figure it out.
I mean, look what Dave did, though. Dave got a ton of shit for doing this podcast with him, and now it's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. So it's
how many downloads is it getting a pod?
I mean, they do some interviews on YouTube that get millions of views.
Damn,
like millions.
Yeah, if you're gonna let what the internet crowd thinks decide what you're going to do in your future or what you're going to do in terms of hiring people, you're an idiot. You have no chance to begin with. So fuck what everyone says. It's a lot easier said than done, but I love the move.
I'll never forget what my agent told me when he told me to delete Twitter. He goes, nothing good can come of this.
Have you seen where Biz Nasty's at now?
Yeah, it's definitely a love-hate thing. Like, it's not even hockey Twitter, Biz. It's all Twitter. Like, it's just everything. People just fighting your mentions all the time. Just say stupid shit. I mean, I get it for my news and shit, but it's not. It used to be like fun to go on Twitter and fuck around. Now it's a chore.
Grinelli, I saw your Instagram story. Our boy Tom Green, all-time interview. I had a blast talking to Tom Green. Go back and listen to that one from a few years ago, I think it was. But Grinelli retweeted, or just what'd you put on your story?
It was such an oxymoron post. It's like, don't post on social media. People don't care what you say, but it's me posting that.
That's true. Well, he's also posting it too. But he wrote, this is the point in social media history where people realize that their opinions not only don't matter, but in fact make things worse. 330 million misinformed egos tweeting divisive diatribes daily might not make the world a better place. So in an argument for, are we better off with the current technology or are we better off without all the current technology that's happened in the past 30 years? That right there is a decent quote for that. Twitter is fucking stupid.
Yeah, and I'll summarize by saying I think the world would be better off not getting my opinion. So maybe Mark Guy was right. Maybe Mark Guy was actually right.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good move by the NHL. Sometimes they get shit for not reaching out like they should be, and this kid is a perfect candidate, I'd say. Biz.
I will say, though, tough salad. The guy's got to do something about his fucking salad. It is brutal, right?
That's what the chicks like nowadays, though, man. That's what these young girls are into.
Yeah, well, then I'll fucking date 70-year-olds if I was fucking
I can't
20.
talk about salads, dude. My salad's fucking trash. I got the worst salad.
All right, would you rather be bald or rock his salad?
Rock his salad.
That's not even a close.
Yeah, you can always cut it, I suppose, but
you have to wear your hair like him.
I'd have to see it first. I'd have to because sometimes you might look better bald than certain hairstyles. I think. I mean,
all right, you actually have a good shaped dome to be bald.
Yeah, you do have a great head.
Yeah, it does look good bald. I will say that.
It looks like he's wearing one of those hats that like Bryson DeChambeau is wearing, but he's not wearing one. It's just like the hair.
Oh my God, Bryson, dude, his fucking caddy gassed him.
Oh yeah, shit. We'll get into that later because we got to throw it to an ad.
Yeah, absolutely. George Laraque. We talked to him down in New York last week. Obviously, Montreal in the Stanley Cup. We thought he'd be good to have on the show. But want to mention this interview is brought to you by our friends at Body Armor. Today's athletes deserve more than just your grandfather's tired, old, salty sports drink, which is full of artificial dyes. Enter Body Armor. Made with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and B vitamins, plus no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Body Armor Sports Drink provides hard work and hydration and more. Plus, it tastes great. I've been drinking this tropical punch all summer because it's been hot as hell in Boston. You know, not everybody's Bo Jackson, including myself. So sometimes you just got to stay hydrated if you're not so much of the athletic type. And there's nothing better than Body Armor. It's good stuff. You go to drinkbodyarmor.com for more information. Body Armor is available for purchase in-store and Amazon right now. So get some, stay hydrated, and now, George Laraque. It's time to bring on our next guest. This bruiser was Edmonton's second-round pick in the 95 draft. One of the toughest customers in the NHL. He went on to play 8 seasons for the Oilers before spending time with Phoenix, Pittsburgh, and his hometown Canadiens before retiring after 12 NHL seasons. Thanks a bunch for joining us on the Spittin Chiclets podcast, George Laraque. How you doing, pal? You in Montreal these days or what?
Yes, I am in Montreal, and the city is buzzing right now, so it's awesome.
That's what we wanted to ask you. Just how insane is it? It's been 28 years since this team's been in a Stanley Cup final.
Man, it's magical what's going on in the city. The city went from going from depression because they thought that with the way the season ended, it's going to be first round exit against Toronto. When they were down 3-1, they were, let's fire Bergevin, let's fire the coach, let's fire everyone. And then now we have the best coach in the league, best GM in the league. We're going to win the cup, man. It's crazy, man, what's been going on.
And now you're flipping cars outside the Bell Center. I think I saw a video of you getting in the mix, George.
That's awesome.
Hey, so you grew up in Montreal, and I'm assuming you were an enormous Habs fan. Do you remember hearing like the pressure and how quickly they'd turn on guys and stuff?
Man, that's one of the reasons I never wanted to play there.
Yeah.
When I was a rookie, I didn't want to play Montreal because when you're French and you play Montreal, there's added pressure, man, that you have to honor. And they love interviewing you because they need people that speak French, right? The media, they're nuts. If you speak English, you sit quietly in the dressing room, the media, they'll come to you. But if you speak French, every day they come in at you and stuff, a question, pressure. You're from Quebec, you got to give more. And me, with the job that I had, man, if I played in Montreal as a rookie, I would have to be the best in the league. And if I get beat up once, I get killed. I get criticized. Front page, let's get rid of him. He sucks. He's terrible. So I didn't want that added pressure when I was a rookie. And I don't think that I'd play this long in the NHL if I was a Montreal Canadian because the stress. Look, they have Brashear. Look how they treated Brashear. Yep. That ended up being one of the best fighters in the NHL. He went nuts in Montreal, and then he had to get out of there. And look what happened to his career. Over 1,000 games, known as one of the best ever. So this market is particular. When you win, it's awesome. But when you're from Quebec, more pressure playing here.
That's why I think they're so successful right now, because they're kind of taking on that role as the underdog. So there might be not as much expectation, which is kind of rare for playing in Montreal, as you just described.
Yeah, but you know what? Every time, every game, every series, they were the underdogs. They played Toronto, they're supposed to lose. The Jet, they were supposed to lose. The Jet swept the Oilers. And then, they played Vegas. What did they say about the North Division this year? The North Division is a sub-league because all the other divisions were so much better. It was a super league, and the Canadian division sucked. So people were like, as soon as the Montreal Canadiens plays a team outside the North Division, they're going to get slaughtered.
Yeah, that was wit.
You're describing myself, George. Listen, it was to my mind, the most foregone conclusion of Colorado or the Vegas Golden Knights smashing Montreal, and I'm a fool once again, but I don't know. It's pretty cool to see because we've chatted briefly about maybe adding some more playoff teams. Montreal's proved this year of what can happen. But I don't know. I think that the team's certainly exciting to watch at times, but they're also a little bit like the Islanders, which I've mentioned I can't stand.
Well, I'll be honest with you. We all thought the same thing. We thought for sure. I was saying all the time that Vegas and Colorado, they're playing in the Super League and they're going to thump the Canadians. So there's no way I thought Montreal was going to beat Vegas, man. When I look at that and the way they beat Vegas, and I look at all this, I was like, man, this is unreal. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand hockey anymore. How does Montreal beat Vegas? And now you're playing Tampa.
Did. Still don't. I'm more curious to know. I was going to hop in. You and Whit played together, and he's got some pretty funny stories, one of which you ended up racing. Who did he race on the ice?
It was me and George.
Oh, that's
race.
Oh, okay. So
first, when George came in, he got traded. And
Whit.
Here we go.
Whit, come on. Okay, let do the story again because I don't recall that, but go ahead. Tell me that story and we'll go.
I want to hear both sides of it.
Go ahead.
Kind of like Torrey Mitchell.
The story was that we talked about how fast you were straightforward, and you're like, I'll race anyone. I'll race you with for $1,000, goal line to far blue line. And I said, okay. And I beat you by 0.1 inch. But yeah, I beat you.
Man, it's funny because
Terrian came out to be the judge at the far, and so what happened is I got off to a quicker start, and then I heard you coming. And if it had been another 3 yards of ice, you were catching me. But at the very end, Terrian was there. And then I went in and I go, "That's what you get with these quads, boys, or these calves." And I was pounding my quads.
Wait,
okay, let's hear the other side.
Maybe you're gonna say that I got too many hits in the head when I played hockey, and I don't remember that. But I don't remember you beating me in any race, Whip.
I'm sorry.
Maybe backward.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have another. Ask anyone from that Pittsburgh team that we went to the finals with.
I will. I'm gonna ask guys on the team, and I'll tweet you later and stuff.
Okay.
If what you're saying is true.
I'm going
to the judge.
I'm going to the judge. No, but George, I did tell.
Ask Michelle.
Okay.
Ask Michelle.
Oh, yeah, he loves me.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
Hey, hold on. But what you did do you remember this? Do you remember when you showed up and he bought the entire team PSPs and the game SOCOM? You remember the battles we'd have?
Yes, that I remember.
That was a great move.
Yeah, in the planes, we all played each other.
Yes.
George, it was awesome and stuff.
George, you bought the councils for the whole team?
Like 20 guys. You came back with all of them.
Oh, my, that's a very nice gesture. Let me ask you this, though. So you don't remember racing Witt and losing. Now, he said that you bet him $1,000. Were you the one teammate where if you were competitive about something, you were always putting money on it?
Always. Everything I
all he does.
Every day.
George, remember our warm-up competitions? $100 a shot? This guy went 3 in a row, 3 games. I was... and he goes, I make you fucking learn, Witt. Every time he scores.
That's true. And the betting, PSP, I remember everything. That's why the race with, man.
Hey, I'm sorry, buddy.
Like,
you're like Jack Nicklaus. You forget about the losses. You know, you move on, but you remember the wins.
So you're just, I mean, it sounds like you were two people. You were this fun-loving guy in the locker room, and then unfortunately you had to go out on the ice and take care of business. Now, did that side of it, did it bother you at all?
Well, I'm pretty sure you were the same way too, because you also did the job. When you do the job, there's so much stress in fighting. And believe it or not, I did not like it. It's not me. It was not me as a person. I did it because it was my job, but I didn't like the image that came with it. In the dressing room, I was a clown. I joke around all the time because it would take pressure away from me from knowing that next night, like tonight or the next day, I might have to go out there and fight someone. So it was a way for me to just not go crazy because of the anxiety that I felt all the time with the job. Because it doesn't matter the reputation that you have. We all have it. We all feel anxiety. You never know what's going to happen, and there's nothing that is for granted. I could get one punch by anyone. It doesn't matter. You don't take anyone lightly. When your teammates looks at you, you have to look invincible. You have to look like nothing's going to happen. And that's the phase that I had. I always had this front. Don't worry, guys. Guys would come up to me. Hey, George, you think they'll goal you? I don't care. You could come. But inside of you, you don't feel like that. So when you joke around and stuff, it's a way for me to keep myself like, lighten up, because there's so much stress in doing it. Because on top of the fact that you have to win all the time, the pressure that you have, people are looking up to you and they want to go after you because of your name. But at the same time, you don't want to get hurt.
Well, you're also going against guys like Donald Brashear and guys where if you do get caught with that one punch, it could be the end of your career. Now, throughout those processes, who was like the one or two guys you just like didn't like going against?
Man, Brashear is one. Derek Boogaard, Colton North, Jim McKenzie.
This is
man, Tony Twist, Chris Simon, Bob Probert.
Just to name a few folks.
Man, and I could go on, and I didn't sleep the night before. I'd have anxiety. Pre-game nap, I'd be like so worried up in the afternoon, like thinking about it, visualizing in my head what's going to happen, like, and to think about, like to be composed and to feel confident and not to show that you were scared, because fighting is 90% mental. And when you get in with a guy and you know it better than anyone, you want to show him that you're not scared, and you want to show him that, you know what, you're confident. Because if you're fighting a guy that you see any signal that he's afraid, you got him. You got the fight is half beaten. And sometimes when I would see the other guy, it would be tentative in the warm up, the way he skated, and I looked at me too much. I feel more confident, because if I saw a guy that was worried, I'd be even more confident about it. And even though I had a really good reputation, I felt it just like you did, because a lot of guys that you fought with, they were much bigger than you. And you would go in with anyone, which is even harder because you were outside a lot of time and you went at it anyway. I was the bigger guy, so I had more to lose because I was not supposed to lose. So there's added pressure to me. As for you, if we go together, me and you, and it's a draw, you win. It looks like I lost because you go against a bigger guy. So it's totally different. So you're happy with your job. Your teammates are pumped up and they're excited. And I go back to the bench. People look at me. They're like, man, what the fuck was that? They're not going to say that. They're not going to say that, right? Yeah. But you know that it shouldn't be like that and stuff. So you never had anything to lose every time you went at it. But we all have different kind of pressure.
Yeah, just the shape of my nose. That's it. That's about it.
But still, the fact that you did that against guy every time that were much bigger than you, it shows all the guts that you have. Because I was bigger than most guys I fought. You were smaller than most guys.
Yeah.
So in a way, what you did was much harder than what I did, because I don't know the type of guy I would have been if I'd be the smallest and the tiniest guy every time I got into a scuffle. Man, it must have been, if my pregame nap, sometimes I was nervous. I could just imagine on your side how hard it must have been.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
it sucked, and I could just tell
And
by
he found weed.
I could just tell by the way you are off the ice that I would imagine that it's just not in your human nature where you want to inflict pain, but yet you want to play this game you love is at a higher level and as long as you can. So, but yeah, enough about me. I'll throw it over to Whit here. We want to dive into some more stuff.
Well, I'm always curious into like guys that did what you did and how early it started. And I know that, you went to the Quebec League and your draft year, 20 goals, 250 PIMs. So right away you kind of knew at 16 this is what it was going to be?
Well, when I came in to play junior hockey, everybody wants to play in the NHL. I remember the coach coming up to me and he said to me, he's like, you know what, George, if you want to have a quiet career of playing junior hockey, that's fine. You'll score goals, you'll have fun, you're overpowering guy, you'll play as a 20 years old, make $500 a week, we'll give you a car or whatever. If it's what you want, that's fine. But if you want to play in the NHL, with your size, you're going to have to fight. And you're going to have to fighting to your game if you want to be drafted. And then I was like, my God, really? And it's like, yeah, you have to fight. And then I wanted to play in the NHL, so I did. So my first fight, I was 16 years old. I'm fighting Sylvain Blouin, 20 years old. And my dad is there, and I played midget AAA with me. They're watching the game. It was in Collegiate of Labatt, and I get killed. No. He broke a vein on my nose. I was bleeding all over the place. And then I take a towel, go back to the dressing room. My game is over, and I'm holding a towel and I'm bleeding. My dad came and watched me in the dressing room, and I was full of blood. I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know anything. And my dad looked at me and is like, what are you going to do now? Are you going to hide behind your mom's skirt, or are you going to become a man? That's what he said to me when I was bleeding. From that moment on, I looked at him. I said, I'm going to become a man. And I never lost again. Every time I fought, I saw my dad in my opponent's face. I was so mad at him from that moment on. Even when I was in the NHL, that's my dad's face that I saw.
That was your motivation.
Because I was so upset of what he said to me that day. And the way I grew up, too, my dad was, my dad beat me up a lot in my education because it was pretty severe. That's the way he was growing up in Haiti. Beating up his kid if the marks were not 90s in school. Beating up his kids, we have a D marks in school because I used to talk a lot and all the time. I was a very good student, but for him, I had to be perfect. So the way I was brought up was pretty severe, on top of the fact that he didn't want me to play hockey. And when he comes watch me play, that's what he says to me.
Yeah.
So long time, I saw my dad when I fought, and I needed counseling to be able to take that image off, because, man, that's fucking weird, man, when you get into a fight and it's your dad that you see in your face in front of you, even though you're fighting Tony Twist, but your dad's face is there and you want to beat him so bad. So, and it was crazy, man. And I can't believe that I did that for so long. I feel so fortunate that today I did not suffer anything from all the fighting that I did. But
George,
of doing that.
And you mentioned, that there was the stress involved, but you went out there, you kind of went pretty freewheeling, like open it up. You were a lefty, but you weren't really fighting protective at all either. Was that like by design, or?
It's crazy because after me, the way people used to fight, Peters and the other guys, you know how they grab each other's shoulders like this, and then you go punch each other in the shoulder one at a time. Nobody's getting hurt anymore in the fight. It was like one at a time hitting, not really hitting anyone in the face. The protective way of fighting that there was never damage. A lot of guys fought like that, and to me, it was not fighting. The time when I learned how to fight, you have to hit the guy in the face until he went down, right? So grab the guy right in the middle of the chest. Obviously, I have a long reach. I'm a lefty, having all my weight on my right arm, pulling him down and hitting at the same time in his face until he goes down. You will try to break his face, try to break his nose, try to break his orbital bones. So he never wants to go at you again. So he respects your team. So next time you're in a warm-up, you play him again. He says, you know what, George? I won't hit anyone tonight. Please don't come after me. George, just shake your head no, okay? And then he'd say, do you have triplets? Everybody saw me doing that, but it's not because he asked me to go fight. So, back in the time when I used to fight, it's totally different to the way that it was after, because, after my time, guys would hold each other, in the arms and then hit each other in the shoulder, and they wouldn't really connect. But in the day that I learned how to fight, you got the guy right in the chest. And with my right arm, I'd hold his chest and put all my weight down to pull him down, and you try to hit him in the face, to try to break his face, break his bone, break his orbital bone or anything like that. So when you do damage like that, what happened is that when you play the guy after the next game in the warm-ups, he comes to you and he tells you, I'm not going to hit anyone. Please don't go after me. Or sometimes he'll go up and he'll say, George, I'll ask you a question. Just say no, okay? He'll ask me if I have triplets or whatever. I'd say no, and he'd tell his teammates, he asked me to go, and I said no. So then there's the proof right there that I didn't want to go. Or sometimes I would watch a pregame skate of another team before me, and then when I saw the tough guys back skating, I knew he wasn't playing tonight. So I put money on the board for the winning goals. Gonna be so happy the guy wouldn't be playing, and then I'd be relieved that I wouldn't have to fight tonight. Sometimes in warm-up, when we played on the road, I wouldn't go on the fourth line rotation to make it look like I wasn't playing. So then the coach, when they write the lineup, they're like, oh, I'm not going to dress my top guy. George doesn't look like he's playing. And then I am playing, and then the guy's not playing because of that. Those little things, even though I had a really good reputation, I did that too. I did all those things also because even though I had a huge reputation and people got to know that I was good at what I was doing, I felt the anxiety like everyone else, and I used all the tricks in my books to be able to maybe prevent a night or 2 nights of fighting, knowing that there's a chance it might not happen. I know that sounds crazy, but, there's many guys that did that, but that was their job, man. The anxiety, that's what it does. It drives you crazy, and sometimes you have to find ways to get a bit away from it.
Yeah, and also, real quickly, when you talk about, you knew it was your job and you're playing that role, you just got to make yourself angry. You said you saw your father, but was there any guy you really actually did hate?
To be honest with you, I didn't hate anyone.
Yeah.
Because the thing about that is, you're in front of a guy, right? And the face-off gives you a little tap. You say, hey, you want to go? Let's go. Then you go in front of a guy, and then you do a face like you're supposed to be angry or something and kill each other. He didn't do anything. The guy didn't even play a shift. He's in front of me. It's the only shift of the game, and I'm supposed to be mad at him. He didn't hit anyone. He didn't score a goal. He didn't get an assist. He's just there to fight, and that's it.
That's why Jordan would just make stuff up. That's how he got so good. I don't know if you see the documentary. You're supposed to brainwash yourself into believing he was doing something bad.
Yeah, but yeah,
exactly. Yeah. No. That's why when you asked me the question, I was never mad at anyone. And after a point when I felt confident, I used to smile at guys other than being angry. And because I discovered that when I was smiling, when I was squaring up, it would drive the other guy crazy because I'd be like, why is he smiling? Why is he so confident? And then the fight was over then before I even threw a punch, because they'd be like, man, this guy is crazy. But it was all psychological to play in his head.
George would have the penalty box official on the other side hand the guy at PSP, and he'd look over, he'd be like, we going?
Well,
exactly.
That kind of it points out the kind of absurdity of the stage fights, how silly you got. Because like he's saying, this guy, you like him, he didn't do nothing wrong, and then you got to punch the shit out of him. And you, George, like you said, you didn't like it, but you were very good at it. Did you have a mentor, someone who helped you along the way, or were you completely self-taught?
What I did in my career to be good at it is, in the summer, a lot of guys did boxing. But the things you have to know with boxing is when you plant it on your feet and you're boxing, it's bad habit on the ice, because on the ice, you're out of balance when you're punching on the ice. So what I did is in the summer, I would do boxing on the ice with a padding. So that way, I strengthen my legs and my core and my balance doing punching on the ice. Somebody would do the pad, and I had my full gears on, and that's what I did. I never told any tough guy that because I didn't want people to all know my tricks.
Secrets.
But the thing is that when you do it on the ice all the time, the way you punch, it was more realistic to a real fight. As people doing it on the on the boxing ring, when you go on the ice, it's completely different. You don't use the hip the same way. You don't punch the same way. And I did that all the time. And by doing it on the ice, at valid balance, I never go down. I never fall, because I'm a guy that rarely fall when I was fighting and stuff, because of my balance, because I got so used to it. Any position that I would be in, I got used to do this the stuff on the ice in the summer. And I think that to me was a huge advantage. And also, I did tons of leg, tons of plyometrics, and I pretty much did no upper body. Because if you do too much upper body, you lose flexibility. If you have too much strength in your upper body, you're going to fall all the time because you need your legs, your core. So I do yoga a lot of things like this so I don't get hurt. I have more flexibility so that way I can control my opponent more. As guys that were so big that couldn't even open the door. But those guys, they can't fight. If you're this big and try to fight, you have no flexibility to grab a jersey and to even throw or to escape a throw or something. So it's little things I did that most guys didn't do. And I saw a big difference when the bigger the guy that was fighting, the bigger the upper body was, the easiest it was to bring him down because most of those guys had zero balance.
Now, Edmonton took you in the second round. Teams didn't take fighters in the second round even back then. Did they have specific plans for you to fight? What was their role that they telling you that they wanted for you?
Well, I'll be honest with you. There was no drawing board to tell me what I had to do. I knew what I had to do because, crazy story about that. When I got drafted by them and Dave Semenko was there and Kevin Lowe and everybody, I didn't know who Dave Semenko was. And the trainer came up to me and is like, what number do you want? And I said, I want number 27. And I wanted number 27 because it's my favorite number of my life. That's the number that I had all my years playing junior hockey, Major AAA. It's my favorite number. But when I said that to the trainer, I want number 27, the trainer was like, oh, yeah, I love that. That's cocky, kid. And I was like, why is this? I didn't know who Dave Semenko was. And I was like, why is he saying I'm cocky? Number 27, who cares? So when the media, they did this big thing about how I choose number 27, people were like, oh, this kid think is going to be the next Semenko. And I started reading about it. I was like, oh, my God. This is almost like somebody took number 99. I'm nuts. I took the number of a legend. I'm a rookie. And people already think that I think I'm going to be the next Semenko. They think this kid coming out of junior hockey is going to think he's the next Dave Semenko. So I was like, oh, my God, I put all this pressure on myself without knowing it. And there's huge expectation when I'm number 27. So I'm glad if I honor, may he rest in peace, but if I honor the number 27, as much as Dave did, I'm happy about it. But, Dave's won cup when I choked twice in the final. But anyway, it was like crazy pressure, but I'm glad that things turned out.
I was going to go back to the cup you did win. You won a Memorial Cup in the Q with the Granby Predators.
Yes,
I don't even know where that is. Other than it's in Granby, but like where is that about?
Granby is about an hour outside Montreal, and when we won, Quebec haven't won the Memorial Cup for 25 years. It was awesome. It was unreal winning that, the experience of that, winning in Peterborough. Nobody gave us a chance, and we did win it.
Any other NHLers? Any other NHLers on that team?
On my team, Frank Bouillon, the defenseman.
Oh, he was a great player. Montreal
finished in Nashville, didn't he?
He was a captain. Yeah, he was a captain, a small defenseman, but tough. Jason Doig was there too, but he didn't play long in the NHL. You remember him? Dan Gano in the Rangers couple games, but other than that, no one else really.
George, was that where you started the Laraque leap after scoring goals?
No, because listen to this. The Laraque leap, obviously, when I was jumping in a corner, which, by the way, Ovechkin stole it to me because he came after me. Oh, yeah, because he came after me.
Yep.
I did that before he wasn't even in the league.
He had your poster on his wall in Moscow growing up.
Actually, to be honest with you, in junior hockey, I didn't do it. I started doing that in the NHL. And the reason why I did that in the NHL is when I scored a goal, I never knew if it was going to be my last one. But I'm damn well going to celebrate like it's my last goal. So every time I did, to me, it was a celebration. George, I don't know what's going to happen again, but let's celebrate it. So I just jumped on the board. And that's why I did it. And then people thought it was so cool and that I did it every time. And that's how they called it. And it was awesome. I think even one time I almost concussed myself because it was back in the day when not all the boards were shaking and stuff. And one time I went too hard at it and I went back on the bench and I was pretty dizzy. It was insane. I never got dizzy from a fight, but from a Laraque leap I did once. So it shows you how excited that I was when I scored.
So, George, who was your first NHL scrap with? What, they stay at
Todd Simpson. Todd Simpson. When we played in Calgary, Battle of Alberta, I got called up from the Hamilton Bulldogs, and I lay down Jamie Hallison, body check in the corner, and then Todd Simpson came after me, and it was my first NHL fight.
So, what was it like to get called up? I mean, did you spend enough time down there where you're thinking my time has to come soon, or were you more surprised when you got the chance to go up?
Well, I kind of knew it was going to come. It was my second year in the minors, and I kind of knew it was going to be up and down. And I was pretty nervous, obviously, because I knew if I got called up, it wasn't from my hands and stuff, and to score goals or to add some scoring to the power play. And especially against Calgary, I knew I was going to get into a fight. But I'm glad that it went well. And then I went up and down that year before becoming the year after more a regular NHLer.
George, you talked about some of the training you did in order to prepare for the fighting, whether it was grappling or whatever on the ice. I heard that you're a vegan as well. Is that one thing you did during your career, or was it post-career? And what are the benefits that you've had from turning vegan?
I did that in my last year. My last year playing Montreal, that's when I became vegan, and I wish I did that earlier. But when I saw documentary, when I saw actually Earthlings, the documentary, it shows you how much better it would be for your health. It's crazy because I did testing before and after to see the difference. And after 4 months of, the summer training that you do before the season, when I decided to be vegan before my last year in NHL, the whole summer I was vegan and I trained normally. And when I did the testing, everything was blew it off the chart. I was stronger than ever. My cardio went up. Everything went up. I was like, it was insane because a lot of people would tell me I was going to lose all my muscle by being vegan. And I got stronger, more muscle mass. It was unbelievable. And I believe my career would have been longer and I would have been able to prevent more injuries if I would have been vegan longer. And look, today, the Dino Char is a million years old. He's vegan. He's still playing the NHL, man. It's crazy. And look how big he is. O'Reilly, vegan also. He won, as you guys know, the Conn Smythe. But there's more and more athletes that are vegan and they're performing and stuff. So, no, it's just energy-wise, it's much better. And I never thought I'd turn vegan because I used to eat a cow a day pretty much during my career. But when I discovered how much better it was for health, the environment, for the animals, since 2009, I became vegan and I never looked back.
What about inflammation? Did it help a lot with that in the recovery aspect?
Yeah, well, just to give you guys something about inflammation, which is a really good question. In my career, I had to retire because I had 2 herniated discs. 2 herniated discs. I have no meniscus on my knees, and all the wear and tear of fighting and stuff, how tough it is, right? And a lot of guys that did, but because of my vegan diet, even though when I retired I was 300 pounds, I ran the marathon 3 times, the full marathon of Montreal. Actually, I'm doing my 3rd one this year, and I ran about 100 half marathons. No pain, nothing, no inflammation, because of the way that I'm eating. If at 300 pounds, after 13 years playing the NHL, 2 years in the minors, at 300 pounds, I could run full marathons with no pain, 100 half marathon with no pain, when I have no meniscus on my knees, no inflammation. I do tons of bike, like a road bike all the time. I do all activities with no pain. I credit all that to what I'm eating and the energy that it's giving me. And the fact that, the best medication is food, man. And ever since I've been eating like this, I do things that I never even dreamed that I'd be able to do even while I was playing hockey. So that shows you how good, how awesome this is. And man, I recommend it to anyone. And actually, if you guys watch Game Changers, it shows tons of athletes that are performing with vegan diets, and they're just incredible.
So this is not an insult. I know you're fast going straight forward. Was the knee problem the reason why you might have had a hard time turning the one way? Because that, like, if you watch, seeing you turn, man, like an 18-wheeler, like, I mean, come on.
Yeah. You know what? When I turned, I dig so much on the ice. When most guys would speed up when they turn, I'd dig in the ice, and it looked like I was braking when I was turning. That's why every time I wanted to race guy, it has to be stand still, straight line. So if there was one lap, forget it. Like width. even backwards, if I was forward on one lap, I think you beat me if we had to turn because I never got.
No, that was part of the deal. You're like, no turns.
Yeah, no turns. That for sure.
Maybe we could get a rematch, considering that there's no memory on George's side.
Do you still skate at all?
Wait. I skate, and you know what? I do a rematch with you, and I say sky's the limit. Take your check. Put as many zeros as you want. I don't care. It's on. It's on.
Hey, if you think I would take that right now, you're the craziest human being alive. I have not skated one time besides filming a commercial, and even then I couldn't take a slap shot and lean on one foot. No bet, no way. 1-0 against you. It will remain that way.
I'm going to make sure he's eating kale all week, and I'm going to get him on the vegan diet, and you're fucked, George. We're going to embarrass you on the Chiclets YouTube channel. We're going to take all those zeros out of your bank account.
We're going to take you to In-N-Out Burger the night before the race, dude. You'll be all inflamed. You can't get out of bed. Are you weighing 300 right now or no?
No. Right now I'm 270 because I'm training for my third marathon. I run 10 to 20 kilometers every day, 6 days a week.
What do you listen to? What do you listen to while you run?
Right now, every techno.
Just music?
Techno because, music and stuff because I don't want to hear myself breathing when I'm running. So I listen to techno. I crank it up and that's it. I lose myself while running. And no, I just love it. And it's a way to keep my weight down because when I retired, I went up to 350. I looked like the Pillsbury man. I was like gigantic. And man, I was going to go to China to do sumo wrestling.
That's a lot of hummus.
And,
I was going to go to do sumo wrestling.
Yeah, I know. And then I was like, you know what? I did a vegan conference once. When I was a bulb, I used to make pants with my king-size sheet because my pants were so big that I couldn't get any. And then I did a vegan conference, and people asked me a question. They're like, you don't look so healthy for a vegan. So I kind of laughed in a way, and then I was back in my head. I was like, "He's right. Fucking right. What am I doing? I'm talking about veganism, and I'm sweating on the stage. I need a towel to wipe my face because every 5 steps that I do, I sweat like I ran 10K. So when he said that to me, it stayed in my head, and I started training, and lost the triplets out of my stomach, and I went back to normal. And if I'm healthier.
If I'm vegan, what's something bad I can still have?
Well, you could have pretty much anything. You could have poutine burgers, all the crappy stuff you used to have, even though you're not vegan. But there's vegan ways of getting everything that you used to having. It's just that mock meat is not healthy. Transformed tofu for your body is not good. But a lot of people, because it's not meat, they'll have that stuff. But I don't like processed meat like this, like Beyond Meat and all that stuff. It's not healthy.
I've had a few of those everything burgers. Is that what they're called? The ones that are red and they're made with beets and stuff? They kind of popped off recently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's so much chemical in it to make it taste like meat.
My brains out, George. Just fucking painting the ball. Hey, you mentioned you listen to techno music. Were you when you were in your playing days? Would you guys hit up nightclubs? Were you like big into the whole like techno disco scene? I know Montreal's got some pretty good clubs like New City Gas.
Yeah. Actually, you're the pro of nightclub with the tourney that you're doing with the beers and everything.
Mixed well with the Molly.
You're the only guy that's still living it like we're living it. You're living it like we're 20 years old. But it's crazy because when I play in Edmonton, I'm the only one that would go to techno nights club, as the other guys they go to country nightclub. And I'm sorry, but fuck country. How the fuck you listen to country and you go get into a fight after? Listen to your girlfriend that left you, the cow's getting sick. My God, country and fight after? I was playing in Edmonton, man. They put country in the dressing room. So I have to have my music in my eyes. Listen to Prodigy smack that bitch. I have to fight tonight. I'm not making love to the guys to the other team. I can't listen to fucking country music. Are you kidding me? So I used to fight in the dressing room for the stereo. And then I'd lose because I was the rookie, because I'm the only one. And then people would break my CDs and stuff. So I was the only one that go to techno music bar, raves and crazy things like this. My teammates didn't like that. It
looks like Jason Aldean will be singing the national anthem when me and you race again, buddy. I know it gets under your skin. Talk about winning the race in the mental battle before. Hey, in Edmonton, you had the great run to the Cup Finals. What a series that was after the lockout against Carolina. How did it end up ending for you with them? Were you a free agent? You wanted a deal with a no-trade clause? Or what was the story behind that?
What happened is when it was done, they wanted to sign me, but with no trade clause because they wanted to sign and trade because they didn't think that needed a tough guy. So obviously I knew if they signed me and then with no move clause, I knew they would trade me after. So I was like, if you want me to stay here, I need a no move clause. Otherwise, that's it. I'm going to go elsewhere. Kevin didn't want to give me the no move clause. So Wayne called me and, he was coaching in Phoenix and he asked me if I wanted to play for him. And it was such a great honor when Wayne calls you and asks you to play for him. So I yeah, man, let's go. So I went to Phoenix, but, after a couple months, I wanted to get out of there. I don't know how you did it, how you played there. Man, I remember fighting in Phoenix and you could hear a fly because there's nobody in the stands. Man, it was embarrassing. I hated it. I don't know how you played there, man. Guys were asking Gretz sometimes if the practice could finish earlier so they could go play golf. Things like that I've never seen.
I love that.
And I was like, we were losing all the time. And, we were out of playoff in December. So I asked to be traded, and that's when I went to Pittsburgh. But, it was sad to leave Edmonton. But, I'm glad that I got to play with Crosby and Malkin. It was an amazing experience.
Now I know
Whit that was there. Whit that was there, the best D-man in the league.
Snapping him tape to tape. Hey, so when you were in Phoenix, was there a story about you betting somebody about eating the lava cakes? Were you there when that?
No, yes, I was there, but I didn't. I never did that.
What's the backstory on that?
Yeah, I don't remember what. It was a rookie party that we were challenging rookie to eat 3 full lava cakes. And they tried, they couldn't do it because how rich that is.
I thought
right?
somebody then stepped up and challenged Jeremy Roenick maybe and said, hey, if you could eat 5, I'll give you 10 grand, but he couldn't do it.
It was him. Yes, it was Roenick. That's right.
And he was
Roenick,
shaking by the end of it because of the amount of sugar and stuff.
God.
Yeah,
one of those is tough to get.
5.
It was. Yes, you're right. You know what? You're right. You're 100% right. It was JR, man, that tried to do it and stuff. And, man, by the way, playing with JR in Phoenix was, man, that guy's a legend. It was awesome playing with him and stuff. I'll tell you so many stories off the air about him that I can't say on the air.
Can you give us one on the air?
Okay. I remember, this one is not that bad. Back then, JR wasn't playing as much, right? Because, obviously, his his career was kind of done. It was towards the end, right? So I know he complained a lot with Wayne about his ice time because he thought he wasn't playing enough. And, and I can't blame him because that guy's used to play like 20 minutes a game. He used to be one of the best players in the league. And I remember that time his son was there at the game and he scored a hat trick. It was insane. And when he scored the hat trick, he was so happy about scoring it and stuff. But at the same time, it was crazy because he kept looking back at Wayne to say, see, what else you put me back out there? I was looking at him. Our team was like, we were dead last in the NHL. Nobody cares if we ever win or not. That guy scored a hat trick. And he's looking at Wayne as, if you put me out there more, I'd have more of these.
Of all people, too, Gretzky.
And it's crazy because I look at JR and it's awesome. I'm so happy that he got the hat trick. And I'd be like, Wayne probably doesn't even care about the fact that, the last thing you would think of is, I should have put Joe more out there. We get more hat trick because our team was so bad, right? But yeah, little things like this and stuff, like I could tell you this because it's pretty funny, but most of the awesome stuff with JR, can't tell it in the air, though. Yeah. We can't.
George, when you broke in, Billy Guerin was a big part of that Oilers room. You guys must have hit it off. He's kind of a goofball in the room, too.
Yeah, Bill Guerin was awesome, man. Bill Guerin was like a true gamer. He was like, he was unbelievable. The way that Bill Guerin, the leadership that he was, he's a funny guy. He played physical. He scored goal. Awesome wingman, man. It was awesome. Playing with him and Dougie Weight was one of the best experiences I've ever had there. It was unreal.
I don't mean to jump to the end of the career because there's more to ask, but now you are in the mix media-wise up in Montreal, right?
Yeah, I have my own radio show every day from noon till 3, and a French show at 91.9 talking about all sports, hockey, soccer, every sport and stuff, so I'm having tons of fun with that. And I'm also a public speaker because I wrote my own book, my own autobiography, which is a bestseller, and I do public speaking all around the world, and also I own a sport card memorabilia. people that collect sports cars.
And that's kind of exploding, right? That's getting big. It's coming back to being bigger now, where cards are worth a lot of money now.
No, it's insane. It's insane. It's a huge business, $1 billion business in the world. People that are collecting memorabilia, signing and stuff. So yeah, I do that, and it's booming. And during COVID, it became even bigger because people started collecting even more because they had nothing else to do.
Do you find it a struggle? Because 3 hours every day on the radio, that's a grind. Like, is there days when you're like, oh, there's not a ton to talk about? Or does it seem like you just naturally fit into doing it?
No, I've been doing it for 5 years now, so I'm so used to it.
Nice.
I could do one with you right now with you guys for 3 hours with no subject or anything. I'm so used to it. But no, I love it. I cover all sport and I have so much fun, and we have awesome ratings.
I want to ask you about the Battle of the Blades. I mean, I know we talked about your turning, so that must have been not only an experiment getting used to turning again, but also with those skates on.
Yeah, it took months to get used to just skate with the figure skate. It was unbelievable, that experience that we had. And actually, I got hurt more during, the 1 year of Battle of the Blades than my 13 years career in the NHL. I have 13 stitches there that I got hit in the face so many times. The skate blade, I got a concussion from Annabelle Langlois, which is 4'10", 95 pounds she is. And man, we got hurt so much during Battle of the Blades. It was insane, such an awesome experience. I'm glad I did it, but I could say, to be honest with you, that physically and mentally, figure skating is harder than hockey.
Fair enough.
You're also, you got no teammates out there unless you're doing Battle of the Blades, but I could picture that.
Yeah.
You got to watch those toe picks. But so, George, your last career stop was with the Montreal Canadiens. You grew up there. I mean, that was obviously a dream come true to a guy like you, no?
It was not a dream come true. The reason why I signed in Montreal is I had so many teams to pick from when I became a free agent, but my mom begged me to play in Montreal because, playing on like away all the time out west and in the States, she didn't have the chance to see me play in person, and a lot of my family too. So they were begging me to sign Montreal so I'd have a chance to see me play there. And it was not a dream come true because, again, I knew with the way that I was and the way that I talked that I wouldn't fit into a team that likes players that are more conservative, that don't express themselves the way that I do. And I said, they're not going to like it if I go there, but still, I did it for my family, for my mom, and I think they quite understood pretty fast why I didn't want to play there because, man, the team did not like it. I remember when I used to talk to the media after the game, the two guys from the team were beside me listening to what I used to say, and they'd shake their head and be like, George, why did you go there? And I'd be like, if somebody asks me if I'm not, how do I feel because I'm not playing, what am I going to say? Oh, I respect the coach's decision. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to give everything I have. Fuck that. If you're mad, you could tell him in an interview you're mad. So I'd say, I'm mad. I can't believe it. If I would have known, I would have signed here. I'd say how I felt. But if you say stuff like that in Montreal, it's front page, and now you become a distraction. And I was front page all the time, man, because of stuff like this. They hated it.
So
and that's why after when I got released,
well, I was going to ask you, like, did you? How long after you'd signed did you regret it? Months?
Yeah, a couple months. Within a couple months, because what happened is that when I signed in Montreal, the mentality of fighting, they didn't like that much. I understood now what happened with Brashear, guys that had this reputation. They didn't respect, guys that did the job, the guys that be out there and pose their respect, right? So I was in and out of the lineup, and I wouldn't be playing all the time. When it never happened to me in my career, I'd play all the time. And they were just like, they started believing in team toughness and stuff like this. So eventually when they released me, what happened after they released me? I remember they were playing Boston, they were taking their head off. I remember what he did to Pacioretty, would have never done that if I was there. Crazy thing happened after, because they had no one to protect anyone, and people were taking liberties on them. But when I was in Montreal, man, we played the Bruins, nothing happened. Like Lucic, Cha, invincible. Nobody was hitting anyone. We played Ottawa, Chris Neal, invincible. Nobody did anything. That's the way it was because there was somebody there to look after the guys and to go after them if they took liberties. And they didn't quite understood that. And that's why this mentality of having a tough guy that will play every game didn't fit in with the Montreal Canadiens. And, and slowly after that, they started being a small team that was taking a lot of abuse, that was getting abused physically, because people knew if you want to beat that team, you're going to run them out of the building and nobody's going to be there to answer things. So, and I didn't know that's what they were going to do, because when they asked me to sign with them, they were talking about how they wanted to change that and having a guy to look after the guys and stuff. But clearly, when I started playing there, it was not their vision.
George, you know who else wouldn't be running around like he's doing these days is Tom Wilson. And I saw your tweet. You said the Rangers, if you need a guy, come sign me. You might have to shed maybe a few more LBs to get back in game shape, George, but you think you could sign with the Rangers and take care of Tommy Boy?
Listen, even when I was a fat blob at 350 pounds, I could take him with one hand in my back. Okay. There's no way. Tom Wilson? Are you kidding me? That guy could be in a bully in the league, because the only guy that could answer to him right now is what? Lucic, Donald Nurse, and Ryan Reeves. Yeah. And Ryan Reeves. That's it. There's nobody else in the league left. Now, those guys have a free pass to whatever they want to do, because there's nobody out there. He had to fight Brendan Smith from the Rangers. You think he had to take a nap for that? He probably went shopping in New York before that game, knowing that Smith is the biggest guy I have to fight with. So no wonder he's so tough. And Chara's on his team too. He's playing with Chara. You know how big he was. Man, if I played that guy, even you would give it. Even you could give it to him.
I promise you. I ain't giving it to him. I wouldn't.
Oh, shit.
One thing we didn't talk about earlier on when you were in Edmonton was you actually, you had a hat trick one night. That must have been, It all came together. Boom, boom, boom. Couple Laraque leaps. Anything different about that game, going in?
You know what's crazy is I'll never forget February 2000. 2001, February 21st. In 2000. What happened is that game, I had a fight with Steve McKenna. I have 2 goals that game, and the crowd is chanting my name to go out there for the empty netter. So Kevin goes, tapped me in the back, and said, "Sorry, George, I cannot put you out there for the empty netter." And Yanni Nima scored, and there was 20 seconds left in the game. And, I have 2 goals in the fight. It's a pretty good game. And I'm like, well, it's okay. I go back on the ice. I was playing with Jim Dowd and Boyd Devereaux, and the puck goes in their zone. Jim Dowd gets the puck. He makes me a pass. I'm in the high slot. Aki Bird's in front of me. I don't know why I did that. I do a spinorama, and I'm alone in front of Stéphane Fiset. I do a backhand, and I scored. I went nuts because there was 20 seconds left in the game. I never thought I was going to hat trick. Fiset is back in the net. So when I scored, I was like, how the hell did I do a spinorama? I tried that many times after. I was calling the eye.
I can't even turn.
To do that again. Yeah, I turned with the puck on my tape, and it was still on my tape. And I did it back in. I scored. I skated back to the bench as fast as McDavid ever skated. And I went nuts. I celebrated. I went nuts. And Wayne called after the game. He said 49 more to break my record. I did media interview for hours after the game. And you know what? I kept my equipment for so long for interview that the next day I had back spasm. I didn't practice. So guys came up to me in the training room. They're like, "Yeah, you scored a hat trick. You don't need to practice, superstar." They were giving it to me and stuff. And no, it was awesome. I'll never forget that. I can't believe it happened. And I did a hat trick in PlayStation, but none in real life. It happened in the NHL. It was awesome.
You look so different without the long hair. Back then, you have the shaved head then? These goals, though, George. She's the first one. Nice tip in front. Pretty impressive.
Wait till you see the third one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
Hey, in the meantime, while waiting for that, there's a couple other things off the ice that you did, one of which involving fighting. You went 3 rounds with JSP one time for off the record. I'm sure you have a pretty close relationship with George St. Pierre, the UFC fighter, famous.
You know what's crazy about this? We're really good friends, me and George. And George, everywhere he goes around the world, there's huge crowd outside of the hotel waiting for him to come out. In Montreal, nobody even stops him because he's not a Montreal Canadian. So what happened is, before the UFC was going to do with George a fight in Montreal, they've asked me, the UFC, if I do an exhibition match with him. Because they figured that, it'd be a good publicity for the UFC for the first fight in Montreal. And if he makes me look bad, people are going to realize how tough George St. Pierre is. If he makes a Montreal Canadian look bad, then he must be really good. Even though he's known as the best in the world, if he mingles with me, people realize how good that he was. So we went to the TriStar in Montreal, and we mixed it up. But man, he could have, if he wanted me to suck my thumb or put the diaper on me, he could have done it. He could have done whatever he wanted
shit.
with me.
Easy. He could have, no joke.
You know what's crazy is that when we fought and we just trying to put the other ones down, the hardest thing for him was actually to put me down gently. Because if it was a real fight, he put me down way harder, but he didn't want to hurt me. That's how good he is. Because even though he was putting me down all the time, he was doing it in a way that he wasn't hurting me. And I really tried to put him down, and I couldn't. It's like he weighed a ton. And man, there's a reason why he's one of the best in the world for a reason. He's incredible, and I couldn't do anything with him. Hey, but Viz, I have a question for you, because I've always wondering if it was staged or if it was true. That exhibition game, when you fought against Jansen, was it a real fight or a joke?
Oh no, it was like half joking, but he's a bit of a maniac. Like he's got a screw loose, Cam Jansen. But we wanted to put a show on for the fans, and although I don't think he scored a goal that game. I did. Luckily, I pulled a rabbit out of my ass. I had a Gordie Howe hat trick, so I one-upped him. Although I think he popped me pretty good, so he won the fight and kept the fans happy. So no, me and him are buddies. Although we did have a few good bouts when we were playing in the NHL when he was with St. Louis, and I think we fought once, maybe even when he was with New Jersey. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about was the movie Goon.
Yeah.
You appeared in the movie Goon.
Man.
That's got to be an honor, like probably one of the more famous hockey movies other than Slapshot.
You know what's crazy about that is when I met with the actors, like crazy anecdotes about it. I talked to Liev Schreiber, and he said he looked a lot of my videos to kind of know the attitude and how to fight and how to be. And it was an honor because I was like, oh my God, you looked me up. It's like, because I wanted to get in the role of Bray and stuff. So, and he even trained, because most of the time he's skating himself. Sean Williams Cup, he had a double most of the time because he couldn't skate and didn't learn how to skate for this movie. But Liev Schreiber wanted to do it himself. So it shows you how hard this guy tried, and he was awesome. And when I did the fighting scene with Sean Williams Cup, when we were fighting, right, I was holding him up. But because he had no balance, I had to hold him up with my right hand because he would fall. When we would hit each other, like for this, like couple inches from our face, he had no balance. If I didn't hold him, he would go down. But because he has no balance, the first couple fight scenes, he punched me for real. I remember the first time when I got the punch, I let him go and he went down because I wasn't holding him up anymore because he braced me pretty hard. And I looked at him like I was going to kill him.
What the fuck, Stifler?
So he's laying on the ice, and he's like, George, please don't rape me, don't rape me. Like, as a joke, he said that to kind of make me laugh and to make me realize there was actually Stifler that actually did that, and he did it on purpose.
And you crushed his mom.
Because, man, I was going to jump on the ice, and I was going to, the cord touched each other, and I was like, what the? And then I calmed down because I realized that we're filming, and he did it on purpose. But, man, I had to brace myself every fighting scene with him because we did it so many times. Because when you have no balance, you kind of never knew where his punch was going to go. And sometimes I would feel it and stuff. So good thing that he threw pillows because it didn't hurt me.
How did you enjoy the acting experience? You work with Jay Baruchel as well. He was a writer on the show, big Canadians fan as well, a movie rather.
Actually, there's something that you probably forgot. You know that movie, She's Out of My League? You remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that movie, what you forgot with is there's one scene that was filmed in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. During a game, they were in Pittsburgh filming in front of us, in front of the bench. And if you look at the movie, She's Out of My League, you see real scene of a game. We're playing the Islanders.
Oh, shit.
Whose goal was singing a breakaway in this movie? Live goal in a breakaway.
Come on, you scored on a breakaway.
Sleep. If you watch, and then if you watch She's Out of My League, you'll see me scoring a breakaway against the Islanders, and the actors, for real, they're cheering my goals.
So they were filming them watching the game for real.
Yeah, it's a real game, so it's a real action shot. I scored for real in that game, and it happened to show that goal that I scored.
I remember that goal. I do.
Without knowing it, I was an actor because I scored in it, and it cheered my goal, which doesn't happen often, but it happened, and she's out of my league. So, where's your goal in a movie, Whit? Where's your goal?
Hey, I don't know, man.
Couldn't even get one in a commercial.
All I know is it was against the Islanders, and we beat that trash team just like they lost recently. So that's no surprise.
George, before we let you go, man, you donated 3,000 vegan meals to charity. That's quite. What's the backstory behind that? Obviously, we know you're a vegan. Where was it to?
So what happened is that before the playoff, when we were making prediction, I was making prediction when my agent in my radio show, and my agent predicted that Canadian was going to make it to Stanley Cup final. And I started laughing at him because the way the season ended for the Canadian, I was like, man, are you nuts? I said, if they make it to the Stanley Cup final, I'll eat a whole chicken, because I never thought it was going to make it there, and I'm vegan. So before the series against Vegas, we're only 4 wins away from the chicken, right? And my agent is like, you know what, George, I know you're vegan, so how about instead of eating a chicken, because I think they're going to beat Vegas, how about you buy 50 chicken to give to the homeless? And because I'm vegan, I don't just want to eat chicken. I don't want to buy chicken also. So I said, you know what? I'm going to buy 100 vegan meals, regardless they beat Vegas or not, to honor the Canadians like what they've done so far. And when I said that publicly, people joined in to donate meals. And this past Saturday on the 26th, I gave out 3,200 vegan meals to homeless people, 4,000 cake, and $2,000 of flow water. It was insane. This movement that we're going to now do annually started as a joke to honor the Canadians like ways to the Stanley Cup final and helping out all the homeless across the city. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Well, that's a great job, and you and everyone involved. RA, did you have anything else?
No, I think that's about it. Actually, real quick, did you like acting? Was that something you want to get back into when you did the Goon stuff, or was it too tedious and too long of a day for you?
No, it was awesome. It's an honor to always to be back in it. I was also in Goon 2.
Yeah.
And, and it was awesome to be part of it. So, yeah, no, I loved it. And stuff. An experience like this, to do it and stuff, especially hockey experience, is awesome. You get to learn, about those great actors, their career and stuff because, you idolize them. Like, you see them on TV and now you're working with them. So, no, it was awesome and stuff. And with Liev Schreiber,
he was great.
When I used to own a vegan restaurant, he came to Montreal. He gave me a call. We went to my vegan restaurant a couple of times.
Nice.
So, awesome guy. So I had tons of fun with all these guys.
And if you ever have a documentary, you need to have him do the voiceover. He kills it when he does that stuff.
Yeah, no, and we obviously all watch Ray Donovan, right? So he's an awesome actor, awesome person.
He can announce.
I was so happy to work with it.
He could take over announcing after Aldine sings the anthem at your guys' 100-meter sprint.
Yeah, George, we are next year's draft, not 2021. 2022 is in Montreal, so we'll be up there for that. We should connect then. That'd be a blast. Do something on video.
I'll take all of you guys in a vegan restaurant, and I'll convert you guys to veganism. So you'll never want to eat meat again.
I'll try anything once.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, George. Have a great one.
You can hear him on 91.1 up in Montreal, and his book is on Amazon, George Laraque, The Story of the NHL's Unlikeliest Tough Guy. George, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Anytime, guys. That was awesome. Best of luck to you.
That was a blast, George.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks,
buddy. It was
an
honor to be with you guys.
You're the best, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Biz.
See you, Georgie.
Thanks,
man.
George. Take care, buddy. Big thanks to George Laraque for joining us. We had a great conversation, man. He's got a great laugh on Biz. He's got that deep laugh that comes from his belly, man. He seems like a fun guy to go out and have a few pops with.
Oh, for sure. And Whit, I will say, tough look for you lying about that sprinting story when Therrien was the judge.
That is a full-blown true story. I don't know if George has the worst memory in the world or that was him playing it off. Brooks Orpik, yo, dude, do you remember when I raced George before practice? I do. I think it was goal line to far blue line at Mellon, from the locker room end to the Zamboni end. Remember it like it was yesterday. I think that locks up the story. Brooks Orpik, a man of honor, a man of integrity, and ask anyone else in that team. George is misremembering.
All right. Before we get to the last bits of the show here, I do want to tell you, Cross Country Mortgage is much like us at Barstool, a people-first group of people. They are dedicated to the fundamentals of mortgage lending, which results in a fast, convenient, and less stressful home financing or refinancing experience. Rates are super low right now, so don't pay the bank more money than you need to. Our friends at Cross Country Mortgage will simplify the process for you because it can get overwhelming, but they'll tell you exactly how much you can end up saving. And if you already own but haven't refinanced lately, you could be leaving some serious cabbage on the table. Money that can go toward fun stuff like Vegas strips and, I don't know, just buying magazines, whatever you want. A couple extra bucks always helps. And rates, like I said, they're super low. You can also get a free home valuation by calling Cross Country Mortgage today. They'll make sure you get the best deal possible. So give them a whirl and tell them Spittin Chiclets sent you. Go to crosscountrymortgage.com/Barstool to learn more about your future home buying experience or refinance your current mortgage. Cross Country Mortgage, LLC, NMLS 3029, all loans subject to underwriting approval, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Yeah, if you're looking to refi, definitely check them out. They're good people there. Okay, let's see. Moving on to the et cetera portion of the show. Grinelli, Barstool Athletes, man. As we talked about, the Collegiate Athletes. What are the letters again? Name, image, likeness, right?
It's NIL. Yeah, the NIL, name, image, and likeness. And of course, we signed the only guy who went to college longer than RA, Johnny Walker. Absolutely.
He was our first.
I looked. I was like, "There's no way he's still in college." How many years?
You mean Dr. Walker?
How many years has he played at Arizona
He's
State?
played 4, but they gave every winter athlete an extra year of eligibility.
All right, that was funny.
Last season.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I know people laugh out there.
Sorry, I didn't hear it already. I apologize.
No, that's all right.
We have an announcement for our second Barstool athlete, and it's a girl, and she led the NCAA in points last season. She's on the Canadian Olympic team, Daryl Watts. We're going after the big dogs. That's it. Nice. So we have Johnny Walker and Daryl Watts.
And anybody who wants to become a Barstool athlete, what do they got to send an email or DM? It's
athletes at barstoolsports.com. There's also a link that we tweeted out that Barstool has tweeted out many times. You can find it there. It's on Instagram. It's on barstoolsports.com. You can find it in all those spots. So
and just click accept everywhere. I think one of them says they might get 2% of your future career earnings, but just don't worry about it. Just click it and you'll be a Barstool athlete.
And RA gets the crash on your couch whenever he wants.
Shit. Let's see.
Should have had a lawyer read that contract. Fuck.
July 4th activities. Biz, did you do anything exciting on the? Well,
no, I
not really a holiday on a Sunday, but
no, I cleaned my whole apartment. Didn't do nothing. Me and Finn hung out. I got back from NYC and just chilled. I'm not a big holiday celebrator. I just like to relax and enjoy my downtime.
I hear you. I just chill out and take advantage of it. Whit, what about you?
I had a very relaxing day. We went to the Hingham parade. There was a little 4th of July parade in Hingham. It was actually a hell of a parade, dude. You had 3 different groups of bagpipes. You had all the kids on the baseball, the hockey, the lacrosse teams on the floats. You had dudes on stilts. Ryder loved it. It was bad weather. So after that, just went back, grilled out, had some steaks, and just, hung out. It was relaxing, as Biz said. I enjoyed it. That week in New York, dude, Jesus Christ. That's disgusting. 99 degrees in that city. I needed to just decompress coming home from that dump.
I'd love to learn how to play the bagpipes.
Oh, man. I would love to be able to play them, but I'm imagining it's got to take a while there. It's going to be tough to learn how to play those.
If you could play any instrument, what would you want to play? Yeah, same. I think piano would be mine too.
Piano, no doubt. It's so amazing that as a young kid, the last thing you want to do is take piano lessons, and you just want to grab the kid like Billy Madison grabbed the fat kid that said, I can't wait till high school, and say, no, play the piano. If you're a guy or a girl, people will love you the rest of your life if you're able to. If you could go into a party and there's a grand old piano sitting in the room and you can just get on and start ripping tunes,
I'd slap
you are the coolest person at the party, bar none.
Jay Harrison used to play for the Carolina Hurricanes. I think he played for Toronto a little bit. Might have played in Winnipeg even. He is an unbelievable pianist.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
So I'd love to talk to him and be like, dude, were you so mad when your parents made you play? Or maybe he just took it up later in life, but.
No, I think he was, I think he liked it and enjoyed it early on. Do you know, what are some other guys in the NHL that play instruments? I know Ryan O'Reilly's a big guitar player.
Matt Duchene.
Yeah, he's good. He's got a good voice too.
Great voice, great in the guitar.
Did you say Mike Smith brings the guitar on the road?
Mike Smith, I think him and Sean Burke used to play together a little bit too. Yeah, because Sean Burke plays as well. So, all right, do you know any NHL guys who play any instruments other than the guitar? Because the guitar is pretty simple.
I seem to think it was a goalie who played the drums recently. I don't know if he's still in the league, but I'm drawing a blank, to be honest with you.
Well, Jay Weinberg did. He came on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was a great interview. I was thinking NHL guys. Who was the guy in the Bruins who used to always bring his guitar on the road? Matt Lashoff?
Yes, Matt Lashoff. He's been released like albums and stuff, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got a couple out there, so check him out.
A buddy of mine, Rob Bellamy, he played hockey at Maine. He's doing great now. He's singing, he's performing. I saw an Instagram video he put out. He's at a restaurant down the Cape. Rows of women just like googly eyes at him as he's ripping his songs. He has his own songs, does covers. My boy Bell, shout out him. Great guy. He didn't play in the show, but, I'm just thinking hockey players are pretty talented musically. The hand-eye, the ability to put in the hours, the practice.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I worked on July 4th yesterday with some of our coworkers were in town. Donnie, the Wonton Don, KB No Swag, and Nick were in town doing their Rediscovering America tour. So Donnie's like, hey, if you're in town, we'd love to have you on. So I gave him a little tour of Charlestown. We stopped on the Warren Tavern, had a few drinks, gave him a little Charlestown history. It was fun, man. Those guys are fucking hilarious. I mean, Nick Tarani is like probably the low key one of the funniest guys of that company. Had me in stitches all day. We stopped by Mitch at the ice cream truck. Guys. So yeah, we had a good time yesterday. So also too, dude, two movies to watch on Independence Day. Which one do you watch? Independence Day or Jaws?
Independence Day.
Okay.
But I think Sandlot's a great movie. I watched Sandlot. Ryder loved it too. I was surprised by that, but that's a great 4th of July movie.
True. That's good too. You mentioned the golf earlier. Your boy Bryson and his caddy had a little tiff.
Just amazing. It's unreal. And Bryson's caddy decided to quit the morning the morning of the first round at the Rocket Mortgage Classic or whatever it was, the tournament in Detroit, where he was a heavy favorite and the defending champion. And Bryson didn't talk to the media after either round. He missed the cut, refused to talk to the media, and then I think released a statement saying it was a joint parting of ways, because so often in a joint parting of ways, does a guy quit at 8 a.m. before your first round tee time the day of. Like, just an all-time clown move from the biggest clown in pro golf. And Koepka's tweet, hilarious. He had a tweet with his picture of his caddy, I think Ricky Elliott, maybe his name is, a Ricky Elliott appreciation post. Great troll job there. But Bryson, it's like one of the top jobs in the game of golf to be on his bag. He wins so often. He makes so much money. It's like, you look at it in the end, is it worth it, the headache with this dude? And I think he gets there so early and he stays late at night. And if it's too dark, you can still see the TrackMan numbers. And yeah, I mean, I think that you're not going to dog him for his hard work. But if you're going to be that odd and that weird and that painful to work with while being at the course that long and putting in all those hours, you could see a guy just maybe think, fuck, I can't deal with this dude anymore. And he hasn't come out with a statement, right? So this is completely me guessing, but you just hear and listen to DeChambeau. It's like, why do you think the guy quit?
He'll be doing a book tour in 6 months.
Hopefully, if he's smart.
Just like Tiger's
if he's
caddy.
Smart, he writes a book describing all the bullshit this kid's pulled in his life. Because as amazing and talented as he is a clown.
Also, now that you're the soccer guy, you're officially our soccer correspondent here in Spittin Chiclets. The Euros is still going on.
Like that. People seem to really like that.
No, I'm the soccer correspondent because I saw the German coach getting up to his old antics with. Do you follow this guy?
No.
Oh, the nose picker?
Is it Joachim Low?
I know he's done now. This was his last tourney as a coach of Germany.
So I think the last World Cup, he had his hand on the sideline as the game's going on. He's hand down where his arse is, just getting right in his taint area, and then pulls it up and gives it a big old sniff, okay? That was the last World Cup. So now it's the Euro Cup. He's on the sideline just digging for a booger, pulls one out. Right, chomps on it.
No.
This guy is the sickest puppy in pro sports. Well, now he's retiring too. So I mean,
smelling his ass. and his ass crack. And
listen, if you want to do it at home on the couch to check your oil and see where you're at, if you need a shower that day, I get it. But doing it on the fucking sideline at the World Cup, and then to not only have that happen and get busted for it, I'm sure he must have caught wind that people are aware of this, unless he's like Tom Green and he doesn't have social media anymore, or is completely avoiding the opinions. But then he fucking chomping on his boogers at the Euro Cup.
Just does not give a fuck.
So I don't know if people saw the video out there. This guy is one sick puppy. Did they get beaten out?
Yes, England had an enormous win against Germany, round of 16, to go to the round of 8. Then they dusted Ukraine to get in the semis. Now they have Denmark on Wednesday. Today's Tuesday, which will be Italy, Spain. Both games are at 3, and then the final Sunday at 3. So some great soccer. You can check that out this week.
England hasn't won either a Euro Cup or a World Cup, or I guess anything of significance in 70, 80 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I think in the 60s, maybe. I'm kind of making that up, but I know they keep saying it's coming home. It's coming home. Dude, the thing ran away. It ain't coming home. I would love to see them win.
How is England the home of Italians?
Soccer? I want to see Beckham in a 3-piece.
How is England the home of soccer? That's where
soccer was created.
In England, I never knew that.
According to FIFA, it was spun off of rugby in 1860 or something, and that England is the home of soccer.
Wow, look at you. I had no idea. Well, either way, fuck England. I can never root for them. I don't know how 99% of the planet could root for England given the history of the last 5,000 years.
What do you think Italy did in 2 different world wars, all right? I mean, you don't root for them either, right?
I said, I talked the last 5,000 years. Italy hasn't tried to take over 700 other countries like England did. If you're English, you can root for them. I just don't understand if you're not English how you root for English.
I have no clue what the fuck is going on.
Eating the dogfish and chips. Actually, by the time this episode gets heard by a lot of people, I'm going to be in Colombia Tuesday night. They're playing Argentina in the Copa America, which is basically the Central and South American version of the Euro Cup, whatever the hell it's called. So I can't wait, man. I'm not the biggest soccer guy, but the whole fucking country is going to be watching this game, and I'm going to be there. Just the atmosphere. It should be a pretty wild night.
What are you doing?
I saw the final Saturday night, actually, and then Sunday afternoon's the final of the Euro. So that's pretty good weekend.
You going down for a shipment, all right?
We got to cut this. No, I'm going down. My buddy Stu from college is getting married. I'm in the wedding. So I'm going down to, today, Tuesday, when the show drops, and we'll actually be doing a show from down there and bringing my equipment down. And the episode after this will be half recorded in South America, or a quarter recorded in South America. I'm fired up, man. It's like an adventure biz. I've never been to South America. I'm just looking forward to taking in a whole new country, new culture, all that.
All right, goes to Colombia. How was vacation? Good. Lost 20 pounds. No shit. Yeah, I was on this powder diet. It's great.
Raw, too. I dragged in the mountains every day I woke up.
Yeah, whey protein.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward towards that. So it should be fun little adventure. But all right, we're just about done here. We got one last note that we have to share. It's terribly sad news once again. We hate to relay it, but we have to. Columbus goalie Matisse Kivlenieks, he died at 24 Sunday night. It was a tragic accident. It was originally reported as a head injury, but Aaron Portzline, who covers the team, reported the Oakland County, Michigan investigator Tim Wood said an autopsy has confirmed that the death was accidental, but cause of death is fireworks, mortar blast, chest trauma. So he got killed by a fucking firework. And this poor guy, 24 years old. I mean, he had, I think, 8 or 10 NHL games. He was certainly in contention for the team, but we're heartbroken, and we want to send our deepest and most heartfelt condolences to, of course, his family, his friends, his teammates, and the organizations that he played for. These are the stories that just they gut punches when you read them, and they're terribly sad.
Yeah,
he just played for Latvia in the Worlds, and fucking, it's just awful.
It's awful. I think Jarmo Kekalainen's tweet, he said, life is so precious and can be so fragile. Hug your loved ones today. R.I.P. Matisse, you will be dearly missed. He words it perfectly, and just heartbreaking to the hockey community. To see that news is it's a terrible, terrible tragedy. We are really thinking of his family and friends. Tough way to end the show, we know. Tried to save it till the end to keep the mood light, but when you see that happen, it's like you just never fucking know. It's so sad, and we really feel for his family.
Well said. What Okay, everybody. We'll enjoy your weekend. We'll check back next week. Thanks for listening.